Hello. Hey guys. So we're gonna start here in a minute with PB. Couple of things though. B is not here tonight. She is unavailable. She's got crazy lots of stuff going on right now. She won't be here. Also, the next 2 weeks, the next 2 Saturdays is Christmas and then New Year's. We're going to go ahead and skip those podcasts and we're going to come back on the 8th. B will be back. We'll have a guest then. So the 8th will be the next podcast. Just a reminder, we have everything is up now on everything that I've done so far with Zug and the Bug is up on the YouTube channel. And it's up on Spotify if you just want the audio only version. This episode will be up tomorrow. So yes. Yeah, so I just want to let you guys know all of that. And yeah, there you guys can just do ! podcast. It brings up both the link to the audio version on Spotify and the video version on YouTube. Basically, Zug and the Bug is just, it's something that me and B just kind of stumbled onto when we were hanging out one night, and we've been interviewing people and talking about role play and just having like a really good time ever since. And it's been a really good time. So yeah, so we hope to continue doing this. I have plans to make it more entertaining and fun, and I have the next 2 weeks off from work, so I should be able to put a lot more work into it. I'm really excited about that. So this week, very special guest. You may know her from her work with Table Story. You might know her because she is an RP master. She plays Sparks, and she plays she also plays the mayor of Rhodes sometimes, who, from what I can tell, is an interesting character. But anyways, let's get started. I'd like to introduce Pumpkinberry to the stream.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
How's it going? I'm just pinging my Discord at 2 in the morning. I normally stream at 2 in the afternoon, so hopefully nobody hates me.
Oh.
For doing this, just to let everybody know that we're live.
So 12 hours later than normal. It's fine.
It's fine, no big deal. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
Long time no see.
I know, yeah. We definitely weren't just role playing together.
Yep, that's right.
So
good shit.
Yeah, how did you feel about tonight? Tonight was fun. Crazy.
Yeah, it was a little intense, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very intense.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was for you, but from the law point of view, it was absolute chaos.
Yeah, it was. I think it was absolute chaos on my side as well. There was a lot of stuff that I wasn't expecting to happen that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was supposed to just be a party, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
And then it wasn't that. It was so much more than that.
Yes. Yeah, it was of course when you get Ryan and Trench throwing a party, things are bound to go terribly and wonderfully wrong.
Yep. In a
Um
in an absolute beautiful way. It was
yes.
very good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah. Trench as Santa. Fucking kill me. It was so good.
was he Santa? I missed that.
Yeah, he was Santa and, just saying things like, who wants to sit on Santa's lap? And
Yeah.
yeah, he makes me laugh all the time. He's so good.
Surprised, not surprised. That sounds
Yeah.
like Trench. He tells me
Mhm.
that when he's not pretending to be Santa, so
Yeah, I know, I know. But just as Santa, just also like giving zero shits as well. Like, were you good? Were you good this year? He told the guitarist, stop singing. You play the guitar real well, but I don't want you to be singing anymore. So yeah, that was, yeah. So
uh
yeah, it was good shit though.
yeah, Pumpkinberry plays Sparks, who we just had a scene with.
Mhm.
We've had a few scenes with her lately.
Mhm.
Gregor
Mhm.
and Sparks have been becoming pretty close, like kind of all
Mhm.
of a sudden.
Yeah.
She also plays the Mayor of Rhodes, who I am told likes to get choked.
Yep.
Do you want to expand? Can you expand on that, please?
Sure. Well, I think my first day playing Nora, well, when I originally made Nora, I thought, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this crass old lady who makes the most inappropriate jokes. And so like what would a woman like that, who would exist in that time period? So I'm thinking like, okay, she probably never married. She's just kind of this like, I don't know, fast and loose lady that really likes thrill seeking. So I think the first day, so she'll do stuff like equivalent to like skydiving. It's not necessarily a sex thing before you guys freak out. But the first day I was playing her, I think they voted her as the mayor of Rhodes. Oh, it probably wasn't the first day because I did G&G with her. So basically, I created her so that I could play D&D within a game. Um, and uh, and then eventually, people ended up voting her mayor for some reason, just because she's very outspoken, I guess, and was like, "Oh, fuck this," and we'll get shit done or whatever we need to do. And then and that first day, somebody, AJ, who unfortunately has passed away, like the
Right.
character, obviously, was offering to throw knives. And Nora was like, okay, well, you throw one at me then. So she did that, and it hit her in the face. And it was like one of my first, I'd say it was maybe the third or fourth time I'd been streaming this character. And I went, I want to perma her right now, because to me that's hysterical. The idea that this woman is like, okay, it's my first day on the job. What are we gonna do? Okay, we'll go do a protest in Valentine. And then we're gonna have this party to celebrate, and you're gonna throw this knife, and it hits me in square in the face. So okay, I should perma her, but I didn't know the rules. I didn't know how to do it. So
Mhm.
and then Mythmatic, who plays Cooper Garrett, was like, look at that. It went right into her teeth. And I'm like, oh, is he telling me not to perma the character right now? Okay, so I guess I won't do that. But if I had had my way, she would have died right there with a smile on her face, with a knife, light knife in between her teeth. But yeah, she's a wild card.
That would have
Every
been
time I
great.
play her, I get in trouble. But she's good. She's good fun. And
Okay.
I like to play her when the stress and drama and the realness of Sparks gets to be too much. Sometimes I just
Yeah.
hop on Nora and do crazy shit. So
Sparks is great. I love that character. I like how.
me too. I hope she doesn't die.
Yeah. Oh God, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like.
nervous.
I like how serious she gets. I like how seriously she takes. I like how seriously you take the role play with her. Like I love serious role play, and I feel like
Yeah, me too.
when you're on a server with a bunch of people you like out of character, it's really
Mhm.
easy to forget that somebody's finger just got cut off and eaten in front of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Like how
Yeah.
fucked up that is. And I love that you bring that right out into the front for everybody watching and for the other role players too.
Yeah.
Like this isn't funny. This is fucked up.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think my first experience with that was probably when Michael was stabbed, and then I remember thinking like, how the hell am I gonna do this? Because technically, like, I woke up, I had to wake up at a nearest station, and I know my friend Aaron who plays Michael,
Mhm.
and I know that we're very much the same, and I know that he's rolling a d20 right now, and if he rolls low enough, too many in a row, he's gonna kill himself. Like, he's gonna perma the character. Um, and it put a fire under my ass, and I was like, okay, so I guess a wolf dragged me all the way to McFarland. I'm gonna wake up, and I'm like, the temptation to just call my horse was there, and I went, but that doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
So I was like, I have to walk it. I have to fucking hoof it and hope I run into somebody and that they will like pick me, or I have to steal a horse. So she did. She was like, all right, there's somebody's horse. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I'll give it back. I swear. But like just the idea that someone else playing alongside you can light that fire for you, or just remind you that, this can be a really crazy immersive experience if we let it. So I just kind of ever since that moment, that gift that he gave me for Sparks, I try to do that for other people on the server as well in any situation that I'm in. So whether it's my own attack, Sparks got attacked, and I was like, the scene was so fucking cool, and I wasn't recording, I wasn't streaming it. I don't know if they were streaming it, and
Oh,
it's just
no.
like after it happened, I went, that was too cool for me to just walk back into town. Like, they went out of their way. It took like an hour and a half. Like, come on, I can't just walk in like nothing happened,
Mhm.
you know? And for 2 weeks, I sat on the porch in Rhodes, role playing out my medical injury. And boy, the FOMO was so real. Everyone was like going camping and shit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, I gotta just sit here on the porch. But, it's good. Makes it fun.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I remember when that happened, and I was like,
Mm.
McGregor always wants to, like, his whole purpose is to stop people like that like do kidnappings and tortures and
Yeah.
stuff. That's why he joined. That's why he joined. That's why he's a law officer. He doesn't care about moonshine. He doesn't really care that much about bank robberies.
Wait a second. Does that mean that McGregor's, don't answer me, but does that mean that McGregor's backstory includes like a kidnapping? Don't tell me, but that's what I'm thinking right
I'm just
now.
gonna sit
Chat
here and
knows.
smile.
Don't answer me, chat. Don't answer me, chat.
His whole backstory hasn't been revealed yet to chat.
Oh. Well, I know that he hinted at it with Sparks. He was like, it's very sad. She was like, okay, well, you don't have to talk about it.
Well, Sparks said that her past is also very sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So eventually,
yes, it is.
They're gonna get
eventually
drunk
they'll
together.
talk. And everything will be shared. Yep.
Be shared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost everything.
I feel like I ran into McGregor as Sparks once before. Like before they kind of sort of got to know each other through Harper, and it wasn't necessarily a good meeting. I think she was pretty aggressive with him, but I can't remember if that's the case or if that was with Nora. Yeah, I can't. It's sometimes like if I go all the way back, it's kind of hard. But,
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
mhm.
It's so hard to not
Yeah.
like meta knowledge with your other characters sometimes,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when it was months ago. You're
Yeah.
like,
It's just kind of like, was that this person or was that this person?
which character did that happen on?
Yeah. Yeah. Sparks kind of side-eyed McGregor for forever. It's true. No. That's not McGregor. It's
O'Malley.
no. Who's the one that fucking dragged me through a crime scene? Love the player. The player is playing. I can't decide if the player is just playing like a bullheaded police officer, if they're playing somebody that's like dancing along the corrupt line, but they're playing it in a pretty nuanced way that I really enjoy. But I feel like they served it up for me. And so I was like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then my character will meet you where you are. And she hates your guts now. But like, yeah,
Hart?
No, it wasn't Hart, although she did not like Hart in the beginning either. But it wasn't Hart. Who's the one? Gun. It's Gun.
Oh,
It's Gun.
Hazard.
Yeah, dragged her through a crime scene and whatnot, and it was just weird because she's a civilian, and that's bizarre.
Yeah.
Sparks is like, okay, luckily I can handle looking at stuff like this, but he doesn't know that. Like, what if this was Edie? She'd be like crying in the corner on a floor, looking at all this blood on the wall. But yeah,
Edie.
it was weird. So, but yeah, I can't really remember. But yeah, Sparks has not really enjoyed. She's been a little standoffish with Law in the beginning, just because I guess of her history and stuff like that. So,
and then she fell in love with Law.
I know. I was not expecting that at all, but it was adorable.
Yeah.
I love them.
It was too adorable to resist. You had to.
Yeah. Well, actually, what happened was I think Harper came in. It was very strange because he came into the scene and it was my first time meeting him. I think people had said like, "Oh, this is the nicest guy in the crossing" or something like that. And he came into the scene and he made a joke and it made me laugh and it made Sparks laugh. And I went, "Oh shit. This would be so good. Like if she's got a crush on a lawman because she hates Law, like how fucking cute would that be?" But I had no intention of telling anyone. It was just going to be this little Easter egg for me to play with, that she gets kind of like nervous and doesn't really speak the way she normally speaks around Harper.
Yeah.
And it was like, I want to say, I don't know, maybe a week of just interacting with him occasionally. And he asked her out. And I was like, what? Yeah, so it was cute. It's cute. I love them too much. And I'm sure something terrible is gonna happen, but
oh God,
I really don't want it to. I love them.
Why are you so sure of that?
Adorable. Because I feel like Harper is very wholesome and very optimistic, and Sparks is a little bit on the pessimistic side. She's trying really hard to be optimistic, but I worry that things might happen in a way in which it makes it too hard for her to continue. Also, there's been like weird stuff which I think where she's told him stuff in confidence, and after he was like, "You can tell me anything. I won't ever, if you tell me something and you don't want anyone to know, I won't tell them." And so she did, and then he told someone. So yeah, there's just been a little and they never get to see each other anymore, which I know is just a recipe for disaster.
Like, why is that? Like always, it's just playtimes.
No, because we'll be on playing at the same time, but like he'll be on shift, or it's like, they're like ships passing in the night a little bit, but hopefully it'll be fine. Hopefully they'll work through it. I mean, they care about each other a lot, so.
Oh, that's cute. That's wholesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Guys that's actually really good though, because you have like this wholesome, cute RP that happens at the same time as this not wholesome or cute RP, this like really serious, dramatic, sad role play too.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that escape for your character and like that outlet for you too as a role player. Like, we can't be like going through all this trauma all the time. It starts to suck and you're like, I'm gonna go shoot some zombies or something in another game. I can't handle this.
Yeah. Or like treasure hunting like we did the other day and swapping stories and stuff like that.
That was really fun.
I didn't really intend, like when I originally like rolled up Sparks, she was gonna be like a criminal. I rolled her up with a couple other people, and I was like, well, I just want to kind of get to know how to play the game properly and like shoot guns and stuff like that. And I was like, so probably a criminal would be the best way for me to do that and have it make sense. And then, she just organically, it became something so much more in-depth and nuanced, and I really enjoy that. And it's made me realize that when I roll up new characters, which I just did like last week, I rolled up somebody new. I want to roll up somebody in the neutral zone and think about like, okay, what would they do if they were dark side, and what would they do if they were light side? Okay, we're going to start them in the middle and then see what happens. Like, see if they get tugged in one direction or the other. Yeah. So It's just made me realize how I like to play.
That's so cool that you say that, because I love doing that, and that's what I did on my first roleplay character ever.
Okay.
And it
And
turned
who
out
was that?
great. Actually, it was a little dwarven blacksmith
Oh my God.
on Atlas, and he ended up going a little dark. He was true neutral, and he ended up rolling with some pirates on Darkside
Yeah.
RP. Actually,
Stop it.
yeah.
What season of Darkside RP?
The first season that had public added to it. So I mean, he was on there
So
forever.
okay. Well, does that mean that you were around when God, what the hell, chat? What was our name?
Golden Rose.
I was on one season of
You're on one
Darkside.
season. Who were you playing with?
God, what was our name? The Golden Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my first scenes was with the Golden Rose.
No, really?
Yeah, the gold, like Brad and everybody.
Yeah, I played Brad's sister. Yeah, I played Mallory.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
the
remember?
one who got lit on fire. That was me.
Okay, you might have died before they met Argus, but they were like my first customer. I had a shop where I sold like cannons and stuff. It wasn't very far away. I was in the whitelist area, and they rolled up, and we had like a really cool little scene, and of just like a merchant RP. But it was so exciting for me because no one had come up to buy anything from me yet, and I was trying to be this little dwarven blacksmith that sold cannons and grenades and armor and stuff. It was a lot of fun, and I sent them on a quest, and I think they had a really hard time with it. So
yeah, that's good though. Yeah, I didn't really have too much time to play Atlas at the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't get on too much, but yeah, Brad was like, come play Atlas with me and RP, and can we be the Lannisters of the server, and I was like, okay, sure, but like you want me to be Cersei, and who are you gonna be, my brother? Like, that's not gonna go well. No, and he's like, no, skip that part, not the incest, but we're just gonna hate each other. I was like, okay, that's fine.
It was so good too. Golden Rose was so good.
Everyone would see. Now that was my first experience with role play like this, like using a game and versus like tabletop. Yeah.
Well, same, but yeah.
Yeah, that was my first, and so that short season was it. But my experience ended up being with those people in the Golden Rose, which was very much like when a perma happened. Like, there's a joke about the Golden Rose. Someone was permaing every day.
Yeah.
And that was, for the most part, pretty true, because things would happen, accidents would happen, somebody would die, and it's like, okay, that's it. And then we would all just roll up a new character because that's just how we played. And so coming into this Wild RP, I remember thinking, like, how do people play a character for a year straight? How do you do that? Like,
it's hard.
Are you just like not letting go when you should be letting go? Like, things are crazy and happen all the time. And now I'm like, if anything fucking happens to Sparks, I will lock myself in my room for a month and not leave. So now I understand completely. Yeah. But I also am crazy and will roll when things happen. Like the other day, we're riding out of town, and it was something so stupid. Harper called his horse, and of course his horse appeared out of nowhere because that's the game. Right. And we ran into it, but I was killed instantly. Like, I got hit, I hit the ground, and so I was like, well, I have rules in my brain, which are that if I instantly go down like that, I have to start rolling to see if I'm dead. And it's just like, I don't want to perma over a random like horse collision that doesn't really make sense, but also that's how life is sometimes. So I guess I'll just roll a d20 and see what happens.
Really?
Luckily I didn't die, but
that's crazy. You roll on like accidents like that?
I do, yeah. I roll. There are a couple of things, like if I'm out by myself and it's like a cougar or a wolf or something like that, which hasn't actually happened on Sparks, then I'm like, I'm less likely to perma for that reason, just because it's what does it do? I mean, it might fuel the people who know me, like, oh, she died randomly out in the woods, but like, if other people are around and in the scene, absolutely, I will roll for it because it has a chance of like uplifting everybody in that room, like giving them like a big juicy steak dinner kind of scene to play with. So yeah, absolutely, I will consider that even if it sucks. It's like one of those opportunities that you can give other players something good and it'll fuel their story and their arc. And so in that way, I definitely consider it. And then obviously if I'm like shot or something, I don't even know how I'm going to handle that. The first time Sparks gets shot, I don't know what I'm going to do, but yeah, I do consider permitting and I will roll for it. I do a roll to see if I do like death saves, which is a D&D thing. Yes, I'll do that, but then I'll also roll when the medics are assisting. I roll to see if they succeed or not, and then I answer based on that. So I leave my injuries up to a dice as well, which is why I spent 2 weeks on a fucking porch.
Because your rolls were not great.
Because my rolls were not great. Well, also the role play with the attackers was just so well done that I felt like I have to commit to that. They were so specific and they did such a good job about what they were doing that it felt disingenuous not to take it super seriously. And yeah,
I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
And I was around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we know but we weren't interacting yet.
Not
really. I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
And but I came around and I heard that it happened. And I was like, really? Okay. And I remember you were in the, I think this was, you were laying in the parlor house in Rhodes, like recovering, and me and Hart were there, and Hart was trying to talk to you, and I was standing in the doorway.
Did you hear me chew Hart out?
Maybe I might have. Yeah, I remember thinking like, McGregor's like, man, I really want to investigate this, but also Rhodes isn't my town. Hart maybe connects with them better. Certainly Harper does. Like, I should probably just let this one go. But
yeah, I don't know if she'll ever get closure on that. I don't. Yeah, it sucks because I
does really suck.
Want to know, but like I also don't know if I want to know. Like I want to know. PB is curious as fuck.
Yeah.
I have some really cool, juicy, like mild meta information for you. Yes, as in they were using sign language, which was so fucking well done that like Sparks doesn't know that obviously because they did such a good job of being like, you know, they were yelling before they got in visual range for me to put what he said was like eyes forward, fully forward. And it took me a second. And I was like, oh, you want me to be like hit V until I'm looking straight ahead. So I can't see you.
Yeah.
And like, don't turn around or we're going to shoot you. Okay. But then like one person would ask a question, and this is all in the police report. So this part isn't like meta or anything. So before you think I'm just telling a police officer everything that happened, they already know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like one person's talking and then there was long stretches of silence is all Sparks knows. But PB as a player could see that they were signing in the text chat back, which is so smart. And it's just, yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, I don't know where the hell I was going with that. Oh yeah, it's Hart came in and was asking her about it, and she's fucked up on morphine and doesn't want to talk about it. They also like threatened her life if she told anyone, so she's like trying to decide if she's going to do that or not. And he said something like, I think I have it on stream, but he said he tried to manipulate her by using Harper, by being like, well, Harper would be really disappointed if you like didn't tell us or something like that. Something like that. It was along those lines. And Sparks just fucking lost her shit. She was like, this is why I hate Locke. Get the fuck out. It's like, don't you dare try to use Harper like against me.
And also never have said that either.
Yeah. Well, I think she ended up telling Harper in the end, and he was very upset by it. But they weren't even like dating at that time either. She was just sweet on him. But still, it's like
sweet on him.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's the different. So interesting to me how different law characters can be. Like McGregor and Harper are definitely like soft touches.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I didn't know that. I would have thought that McGregor was not that. I would have thought that McGregor was more like gun than than Harper. So
He
that was a surprise when you
originally
said
he
that.
was going to be more like
Hmm.
Gun, and I had my I had my interview, my OOC interview, and they were like, we really want Law to be like to de-escalate and not escalate, and I was like, okay, I can work with that. I can change things around, and I changed my character to be this like
Yeah.
really nice, easy to talk to, like you get more flies with honey or
Yeah.
whatever kind of a character, and I've been loving it.
Yeah.
He's like truly lawful good, like to the core, and I
Yeah.
never
He's
thought that
super interesting
I never thought I would enjoy a character like that. I always
with
thought
those
lawful good was
intense
boring.
restrictions. Yeah. But it's good because you get put into situations like you were in tonight, where it's
Uh-huh.
like you're lawful good, you have a job to do, and also it's just complicated. It's not necessarily black and white, it's gray. And
Yeah.
how do you be lawful good in a sea of gray? It's very, very difficult.
Mhm.
Um, what, when you were rolling up McGregor,
Mhm.
how do you roll up a character?
Uh, well, actually, McGregor, I rolled in. He's a character I played before briefly on
Hmm.
Atlas. Actually, I played him as a Navy character. Um, and I also played him in Conan.
Okay.
um, but how I look at it as all these different McGregors they're from the same line, and they're not the same person. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Okay. Like reiterations or something.
yeah, they're well, like
Alternate
or
universe McGregors.
ancestors or something like that,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Okay. Hmm.
So, but rolling in McGregor, I was like, I know I want a law character.
Hmm.
And I know that I want him to be from somewhere far away. And I was like, well, I can do a Scottish accent.
You
So,
can do a Scottish accent so well. I was all caps in your chat when I heard you speak for the first time. What? Excuse me? You're not Scottish?
well, since
Jesus
we're
Christ.
talking about that, I think when I first started watching you, I thought you were Irish.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good.
So there we go. You're not, right?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
All right.
I've been to Ireland. I have Irish family, so I can
Oh,
use
you do?
things like,
Okay.
yeah, I can say things like, Dunleary and stuff like that. Because I've been there, so it's easy for me to make up stories like that. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
mhm.
That's super cool. Yeah, no, but I was like, I can do a Scottish accent. And I was like, what if I made like a Scotland Yard like bulldog kind of a
Yeah,
cop, like that's like I'll beat the confession out of you kind of guy. And then I had my interview and I was like, okay,
they
let's
don't
take a
want that.
let's take a different route. Let's say he was a detective and he's a little more analytical and he's kind and but I love playing characters with like juicy dark pasts.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
every character I've ever played has had that.
Yeah.
So he has that too. um but yeah, so I mean, I know some people don't come up with backstories, they keep it really loose. I come up
Hmm.
with a reason why I'm there
Hmm.
and an objective.
Yeah.
Like, what am I, a reason why I moved there, and then a reason for me existing, and
Hmm.
then just kind of, you know, he's got his own morals, and then that's pretty much it. Like, do you do this where like some of your backstory is kind of like created as you play?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I think that
So
everyone does. I think everyone
yeah,
does
well,
it,
I mean, I think you kind of have to. You can't
right?
just make up a whole person and like
Right.
before you,
Yeah.
and if you do, I find it too restrictive if I were to do that. So like originally when I created Sparks, I was like, okay, it's because we wanted to figure out how the game worked and we wanted to go out somewhere like Tumbleweed and just fart around. And we were brand new to the server and the only character that I had was Alder, who was a supernatural ghost hunter, which I'm just now remembering. I think I ran into you on Alder, not Nora and not Sparks. Do you
I
remember
think
this woman?
I think I remember the supernatural people.
Sully and Alder. They were supposed to be Scully and Mulder. Yeah, I was Alder. So and I think you were the first. I shot at a deer that was on a roof. I think it was you.
I vaguely remember
Uh-huh.
something about a roof and me being like, "Well, what are you doing with the roof? What's going
Yeah.
on here?"
Yeah, and I was like, "There's demon deer on the roof." That was
Yeah.
you. That's right. That's right. But that was like my first day on the server.
Was it?
So yeah, it was. And I didn't
Okay.
I did not know I was not supposed to be firing my gun at a goat on top of a roof in the town. But as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, of course you're not supposed to shoot your gun in town. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so God, I totally. Oh, yeah. So the only experience I had was that. And then
Mhm.
after that happened, I went, okay, well, I'd like to really know the mechanics of the game. If I'm going to play a character that I want to stick with for a long time,
Mhm.
I'd like to be able to defend myself. I'd like to be able to, not accidentally choke someone,
Mhm.
which I realize happens no matter how long you've been playing the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I created Sparks and I was thinking, all right, well, we'll just make her a criminal because that makes sense as to, all these things that I want to do and like learn how to brawl and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I was playing with a group of people. So the people who play um, Dallas and Frankie and Michael and Dakota, we all kind of joined the server around the same time and went, okay, let's roll up these kind of like flash criminals, I guess, that we're just going to kill right away or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just was like, okay, she was in a gang in the past and that's it. And then we rolled in. And then as things started progressing and I realized like, wow, I like this character and I don't really know too much about her. I got with Aaron, who plays Michael, who's like her childhood best friend. And we went, okay, we need to figure some shit out because, we're starting to role play with people organically and we're really liking it. And these
Mhm.
aren't going to be, these are real people. And so we went through a timeline. We got in a call and we were like, okay, so how old were we when we went here? And we just picked ages and a couple of defining events and like worked on a little backstory timeline sort of together, which normally I don't know if I would necessarily feel the need to do, but because
Right.
I'm role playing a shared history, you should do that, I guess.
Mhm.
So that's why we did that. And then those stories, by the way, about Sparks shitting her pants after a cheese wheel and Michael pulling his pants down in the middle of class are made up on the fly between Aaron and I one time. And now we just tell the story forever. So we didn't make that up ahead of time. That was just improv on the
Really?
spot one
Oh,
time.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, is
Yeah.
one of the defining moments you had when he pulled his pants down in class?
No, nope. So Aaron and I have this really cool banter chemistry that I really enjoy, and it's
Mhm.
sort of slipped away since some really heavy shit has happened to these characters. But when we first started playing them, people would run into us and be like, "What the fuck?" Because we'd just be the two Irish dorks that like won't stop talking. The Irish gift of gab will just like talk and tell stories and whatever. And that I don't know if you've ever done like improv theater or anything like
Yeah.
that, or if you're okay. So the like improv story where you tell one part and then you go, "Do you remember that?" Or like, "What was her name?" And then you're passing the story to the other person and then they add to it and then pass it back to you. So
Right.
we just do that back and forth, and that's how both of those stories um, came to be. And I think we were talking to Stone for one of them when we told the like fucking shitting pants story. Oh God, it was so good. And I was like crying with laughter the first time it happened because yeah, the cheese wheel and then she shit in the middle of the street and I was like, okay, Aaron, okay, I love it. But yeah,
That was
so
his
those
turn to tell
were
the story.
mhm, mhm,
When he capped it off with that. Okay. Nice,
yeah.
nice. I love those moments. And, I've never had a person that I rolled in together that do that all the time, but I've definitely experienced that in role play where, like, you kind of get a chemistry with someone and you're like, I bet that
Mhm.
they would. I pass the ball a lot. And
Yeah.
sometimes people catch it and sometimes they don't. And that's
Yeah.
how it works. But yeah, it's really fun when that happens and they're like, oh yeah, I know how to do this, and then they add on to the
Yeah.
story and it leaves an opening and then you can go with it.
Yeah.
I love that
Or
role play.
even just like I notice you'll do it in mid scene as well with McGregor, where you will I feel like McGregor is always watching. Oh God, you did it tonight. Actually, let me just go ahead and pull an example from my brain from tonight. It was like, who was there? And he's like, I think you know who was there. And you looked at Sparks, which was passing me the ball to join in on the conversation, which I didn't do purposefully, but
Yeah.
like you did it. And you do that a lot actually with McGregor, where he's just watching and paying attention and listening. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. And he's a very good detective. I notice when you're asking questions that are like, I just notice when you're fishing. And I think yeah, it's really cool to watch. It's really cool to watch McGregor do his detective work. What was
Thank
the other thing you said tonight? You said something and I commented on it. I said, that's a really good question. Oh, it had nothing to do with the detective work at all. He said he didn't really feel like singing. And you said, why is that? And I was like, holy shit, that was such a profound question. And Jody is not going to notice it at all. You know, you don't feel like singing because you actually feel guilty, Jody. You don't feel good about what you did. And McGregor's just serving it up, you know, like, why do you think you don't feel like singing right now? Let me just sip. Yeah, it was good. It was very observant. And I think like, I know Sparks really respects that in McGregor and didn't really know that it was there in the beginning, but having watched him work, and especially after that moment where it was like Sparks is kind of focused on trying to help Jody go down a better path. I don't know if better is the right word, but like different path than the one he's on right now. And seeing McGregor put work to the side for a second to kind of try to do the same thing for another human was really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, McGregor, I mean, we had that conversation on the ride, like the ride to Blackwater, where we both, I think like we figured some things out about each other's characters, about how they're similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, you know, based on what I know about McGregor, I think Sparks must be the same, where like we have all this faith in people and we get burned, you know, but we still have the faith. And like, Chad has seen it happen to McGregor like live. Like he's been burned by people who's been like, no, there's no way they did that.
No.
There's
and then
no
they did
way
it.
they did that. I knew they did.
Yeah, but in character, you got to be like, there's no way.
There's no way that a law person would do that.
Riggs, right?
Yeah. Riggs was it was crazy. It was nuts.
Yeah.
And Gregor believed her right until the end. Like,
oh no.
He was the only one. He was like, nah,
Dude,
you guys are wrong.
Are we allowed to talk about real life?
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody I went to high school with murdered someone.
What?
And I did the same thing you did. I was like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
His story is totally true. It's totally fine. Blah, blah, blah. They found the gun and her purse like above his bedroom fucking ceiling. Like he hid it in his ceiling. And I remember when the news came out, I was like, wait, what? No, I believed him. Like you know,
I've done that before too. I mean, not murder, but
yeah,
like where people give like I fucking get tricked by people all the time. I'm like, okay, I believe you, and then they did steal that candy. Those little
those little shits.
Those little shits.
Yeah. Wait, that streamer lied to me? Another one too, right? Yeah, like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's just, oh boy. Yeah, I believe people too easily. So there's a lot of... Sparks is actually, I think, the first character that I've played that is a lot like me in a lot of ways. And I think that's why it's like so dangerous to think of like, I just want her to be happy. I don't want her to die. I don't want her relationship to get ruined. You know, I don't want any of these things to happen to her. But I don't know if I'll do that again in the future. Play a character that has a lot of... You have to in improv, right?
Yeah.
You know, I say this all the time. With a script, it's easy to just make up you can think about who you are and your motivations,
you
and
just
you can be completely. But when you don't have lines, you have to
yeah,
pull from something.
yeah.
So
There's a little bit of us in all of our characters for sure. There
yeah.
has to be.
hmm
Because it's
hmm
improv and we don't
Yeah.
have lines. Like if I knew exactly what to say in every scene, then yeah,
hmm
I could detach myself from the character. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like
Yeah. We got to pull from somewhere.
I can't I can't know what McGregor would say in any scene without my own brain. So
Yeah. Exactly.
um but yeah, I think it's really interesting that McGregor and Sparks are so similar, and
Yeah. Me too.
I think McGregor's like the good side of me. He's the unjaded me. He's the me like
Really, because I think he's kind of a jaded character. I think, well, at least from Sparks's perspective.
then
Keep in
I'm
mind, I
super
only
jaded.
see, yeah,
He is
I only
jaded. No,
see
you're
what
right.
Sparks sees, but the couple of the encounters we've had so far, he just seems like this like grumpy teddy bear that's like, what are you up to? And like he always has a question. He's always like, and who are you with? And it's like, would you stop working for like 5 seconds?
Yeah,
We're
you
we're
saw.
digging up treasure. All right, just calm down. We're
Yeah.
gonna go and we're gonna have a good time. And yeah, why did he do that? I thought for sure he was gonna say no. By the way, when Sparks was like, "Hey, you coming? We're gonna go dig up treasure."
I was about to log out for the night, and
Yeah.
I was gonna go play 7 Days to Die,
Oh, okay.
and then you guys invited me on an adventure, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Some RP is right in front of me. Let's
Let's
go.
do it. Yeah.
And I really enjoy RPing with all of those people. So why,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
it was completely
seems like
OC.
he never rests. McGregor seems like he's
No.
always working.
Yeah, which I was actually talking to Chad about that tonight. I was like, it's kind of strange for me to have this friendship blossoming with Sparks because I don't think I've had that yet on McGregor. I haven't had a lot of time for McGregor to have relationships. Like it's always connected to work whenever he does. It's always connected to victims or criminals or other law. It's never just like, let's go hang out and play some poker and get drunk and, talk about our problems. But I don't know, the last few nights that's changed and I really have enjoyed it. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. And the stories, I actually do get scared. So
do I.
Thanks so
Those
much.
were real, by the way.
I know
Those
they
were real
were.
stories.
I could
yeah,
tell.
because I was like,
because you said
all
fire
right, I
truck.
just got it. Yeah, I gotta. Wait, what did I say?
You said fire truck?
Oh, yeah, because do those not exist back in this day?
I think there were there were like
fire wagons,
brigade wagons. There were fire brigades, right? Were there trucks?
But man,
19?
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I didn't sleep very well. I was dreaming about that stuff. Yeah, I get pretty.
I was like, please tell me it's not real.
Nope. Yep. But yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
I said to chat, I was like, I want to play a co-op scary game with PB now.
Oh God. What? Okay, but like, heads up, I will probably be shouting in your ear because I have no filter for that. Like I just get scared and then I'm making sounds. So that's how that goes.
Perfect.
In fact, there's a bit of Sparks that I had not intended that's me. And it all started with me getting excited about something, which I get, I get excited about something and I'll be like, oh my God, that's so cool. But Sparks was originally intended to be very kind of reserved and not really showing her emotions that much. I saw a turtle in the game for the first time and I screamed. I was like, oh my God, it's a turtle. And everyone was like, what? And then I went, I really love turtles. But I guess now this is how it goes. She just
enjoys.
Yep, it's canon. She enjoys turtles. She enjoys a good view. and just some other cool stuff. If I see cool stuff in game I'm not expecting, then I can't help it. I get excited and it's fine. It
There's
sparks
so
now.
much cool stuff in this game. This game is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
There's a fucking taxidermied gorilla in the middle of the woods.
Have you seen all the taxidermy stuff?
I don't know. I think so. I've seen Shooty McShooterson or whatever his name is,
Which
the
one's
squirrel.
the squirrel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I've seen the obviously the like house, the taxidermy place where you can go under and see all the crazy displays and scenery that is set up. I've seen that. And then the gorilla. So if there's more than that, no, I haven't. But I don't know if there is.
I don't actually know if there is either.
Okay.
I haven't had time to explore the game. My story
I know, you're too busy working.
Well, my story joining Wild RP is actually similar to yours. I didn't join as a supernatural investigator to start with. I joined as a just like a dude that was like really simple. And because I wanted to learn how to play the game because I didn't know how to play.
Yeah.
I would have started playing on this server like a year ago, but I was like, man, I tried GTA and I was like, I'm so overwhelmed by all of the commands and like people are just like, I watch other people play and they just like type in the emote and then they all of a sudden look cool. I'm like, I don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah.
So I felt the same way about Red Dead. And then, so when I finally decided that I wanted to come back to RP, I was like, okay, I'll roll in this character that I played once before. His name's Otis. And I will just go in and just be like, hello, my name's Otis and I don't know how to shoot guns or ride horses or do anything.
You sound like Cooter.
I do sound like Cooter. I've been compared to Gorkill.
Yep, Gorkill, who's the same. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Same player.
And I had a great time with Otis and I learned a lot about the game. But my strategy was I'm gonna play a person with a lower than average IQ who it's believable that he doesn't know how to do anything. Yeah. And then just learn. And then I did that. And then I was like, I want to play Law next. And because Otis was so gullible, he would get tricked into doing crimes. Actually, I got to tell you this story. So he got tricked into making moonshine. And they told him it was liquid bread. And then I'd be delivering it to hungry people.
No.
And so he just was like, they pay me $400 to do this? Really? Okay. And he would just make moonshine. He was making a ton of money. He did it like 5 times. And every time he did it, he would ride the moonshine cart at a slow pace. He didn't know he was doing anything illegal. Just at a slow pace, right through Valentine, right past the sheriff's office. Did it 5 times. Didn't get caught until the 5th time. He got caught the 5th time, finally. But, oh, God, it was so... I was like...
That's amazing. You were like, today's the day. Today is the day he's
like,
going to get caught.
He's going to get caught immediately.
Yeah.
Nope. Next day? Nope. Finally gets caught, and he doesn't get charged. He's like, it was Sheriff Cash, and Cash was like...
I don't know if I'd be able to fucking charge him either. Listen to that. I'm giving liquid bread to people. Oh, honey. Like, okay.
They smelled the bottles, and I was like, /me definitely smells like... and they were
definitely
like... Yeah, I think that's not liquid bread, Otis. Oh, you saying they was lying to me then? Oh. Yeah, so, didn't get charged. I don't think he ever got charged with a crime, but because he has committed crimes and he could potentially commit crimes, I couldn't play him for 30 days, which is a rule on the server when you roll in a law character. When you roll in a law character, you can't play a criminal.
That makes sense.
30 days. And they also want you to be really committed to playing your law character. There's just so much to learn that if you only play him like once or twice a week, like you're 3-4 months down the line, you're still not going to know what to do in a lot of situations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does make sense. it's a tough rule though, because I think it was limiting how many law would join
Yeah.
for a long time, but now we have a ton of
Yeah,
law.
what
So
happened? Law was stretched so thin, and then all of a sudden, I was looking at the server list the other day for somebody, and it was like, look at all the fucking law people.
yeah,
So
we've had
insane.
usually when I would okay, so a month ago when I would log in, because I played 6 days a week. I only take
Yeah.
one day off. I would log in around like I don't know 8:30 server time, and there'd be like 4 law on, maybe 5, and then 2 hours later it would just be me and one other person,
Yeah.
all the way
In
until
Valentine.
all the way until I went to bed. All of a sudden, like a week ago, I'd log in and there's like 12 people on.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. That's the exact amount we need when there's 75 role players on the server.
Yeah.
It was it's great, but of course tonight when all this chaos happens, we're back to the same numbers. There's like 4 people on when
like 4.
I log in.
Yeah, because everybody else is playing alt characters inside the chaos.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, but
or they want to be off duty to like enjoy the party, and
yeah.
there's some law who are like, this is my character. This is my only character. I have other characters, but through that whole time when there was so few of us, I didn't play those characters because I felt like law is such an important part of the server. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for the health. That's actually kind of how I feel. Like I would be very interested in playing law character, and there are days where I wake up and go, "Oh my God, is Sparks gonna join law?" Just because everybody she's meeting, like she's had really good heart to heart, pardon the pun, with like heart about stuff, and now McGregor, where she's realizing like, "Oh my God, these people are me," and so what's preventing me from just thinking this whole time that they were different people, that they were a different breed of person. And it's like, oh no, they aren't. We're the same, and we believe in the same things, and we want the same things, and that kind of stuff. But I really enjoy playing a civilian, and I think it's really important for the server. So I'm like, I think for the foreseeable future, I'm just taking that role of doing the civilian thing. Because it's been a lot of fun. It's scary sometimes and can be very difficult in some ways. But yeah, I'm really liking it.
You're so right. Civilian is extra important. Like, people say all the time, like, oh, it's important to have criminals. It's important to have law. It's important to have medics. It's important to have all these different roles. It's really important to have civilians too.
Yeah.
When you don't have an innocent, just farmer or whatever that like can play the victim, and that can play. I mean, obviously your character is more than a victim, but it's.
Yeah, but your character is more than a sheriff, and your character is more than a criminal, right? Like it's the same thing. It's like for a well-oiled machine, a storytelling machine, you need all the moving parts. The law needs someone to protect, and the criminals need someone to take advantage of. Like
exactly,
that's just it. And that's your role as a civilian, is to be there and just live your life, and try to do fun things like go on an adventure, and live your daily life, and then see what happens. So yeah, it's pretty wild. And also in a closed space like Wild RP, where it's like it's a little less easy to just completely play a non-gray character. Like almost every NPC, is what we call ourselves, civilian, that you run into is going to have had probably an encounter or a situation where they have to make a gray decision in order to stay alive or to stay safe. And it's like, because it's such a close space and there are only 70 people on the whole server, right? So it's just extra difficult and complicated to stay within a like healthy, good line where you're not breaking any rules, or you don't know any unsavory types or anything like that. So
well, the criminal population that's on the server, you're gonna know some. That's why I'm saying
I went riding with Otto Okay. Here's the other thing is I don't know who these people are either because I don't look it up. I don't pay attention. I don't really stream that often. What I'll do is I'll record it and then I will play it after the fact. Usually, like I'll just do short scenes, like the scene with Heart, which if you haven't seen, by the way, you should totally go watch because it's fucking insane. It's so good. But yeah, it's like I'll do that. So I don't have that kind of meta information as to who's who. I only hear about it on the server. And it's like, I not realizing who people are and then being like, oh, that's a really bad, like horrific criminal that you were just having
Yeah.
a conversation with.
They've killed like 7 people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, I think that's great too. Cause like, would Sparks know? Like, unless someone comes up and tells them.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't, right? She's new to the crossing, so.
Right. Which brings up an interesting point actually, because we've had discussions and like law talks. We have OOC talks every month. And like, we've had discussions about like what's okay to tell the public. And my argument was always like, we have to tell them. You can't just not tell them about any cases. Like, that's, first of all, it's kind of, blocking some RP. But secondly, like, would a lawful good person not warn people that there's cannibals eating, like kidnapping and eating folks? Like, of course we're going to tell them that. So we've had those discussions and we've decided that we do give information on criminals, but it's kind of weird. It's not like anyone's assigned to do that. So a lot of people just don't know. Like, but if McGregor sees someone associating with someone who's dangerous and he knows that they're just an innocent just person, and he'll take them aside and be like, you should be careful with that person, and this is why.
Yeah.
Which I think is good RP. And it can lead to a lot of fun stuff. But tell me about,
I think it's like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're commenting on something we were talking about.
Well, yeah, I think it's a tough line because you think about like what law would tell civilians now, which is not a lot.
Not much, yeah.
Yeah, so it is kind of a tough situation. But yeah, if you've got a situation of like cannibals, then yeah, you need to be like, please don't go there. Or what we really enjoyed the other day, and I don't know who it was. It may have even been Harper that said, please don't go, anywhere unless you're in groups of 3 right now for the foreseeable future. And as a civilian to have those kinds of that like interaction and that not rule, but or restriction, but it was nice because it was like, this is serious. The law cares. And like, okay, we're gonna, do we have a curfew type thing? It was very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That sense of danger, right? That is cool. I think McGregor's done that a couple times with the Rhodes crew. One time, when what was Tasara's character's name that got killed? Wasn't it that in Rhodes? She was a shopkeep owner too, wasn't she?
Oh yeah. Mortania. That was her name.
Yeah, when that whole thing was happening, McGregor came through and was like, hey, like this guy is out for blood and he does not care who he gets. Don't be alone. Yeah. He also said that recently to you guys, but I think you already knew. You probably heard it from Harper before. But I was telling, it was when Leah's character got kidnapped. That whole thing.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy too. That was like that was when Sparks and McGregor started interacting, I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Maybe once or twice before that, just in passing though, like seeing Harper and stuff like that. But yeah, that was very intense as well. Do you have I don't know what I would call them, I guess like reaction points or serious things like written down somewhere that if this happens, then my character will do this? Because I have a couple of those and Frankie dying is like one of them. So I'm so glad she didn't die because I was like, oh no, something terrible is going to happen. But
I've had those in the past. I don't have any written down with McGregor. That's the thing is like I worked so much with him that he doesn't have any really close. I think I've thought about that before. Like who is my person that if they die, he would lose his mind. And there
Yeah.
isn't anyone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because he hasn't had time to really grow relationships. I think the closest person to him is probably Bianca.
Yeah.
And maybe like a couple other law people, like probably Carter, but he's dead. Maybe Riggs, but she's in Sissica, so it's like he doesn't really have anyone that he's super
Lost
close
everybody. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's brutal.
with. And he came over here by himself. He had, he obviously had family and relationships back home, and he just left it all behind. So yeah, he doesn't have anyone like that right now. But I'm really excited to start growing some relationships now that there's more law. You can take more time off.
And yeah, you actually have the freedom to do that, whereas before you didn't.
Yeah, I really felt like I didn't. They would always tell me in the law Discord, like, dude, just who cares, man? Go play your criminal. I was like, no, they've got to be there. Someone has to take the reports. But
I have a job to do.
yeah, got a job to do.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
fishing, Leah.
I can't believe you're not Scottish. Fuck off. I can't.
Really?
It's too good. Yeah, really. For real.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you to say. Coming from you, who does a
Asshole.
pretty
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
who does a pretty damn good Irish accent. Yeah, okay. So you can't take a compliment just like
No, I
Sparks,
can't.
huh?
I really can't. So yeah, that's real because I can't do it in character either. So that part of Sparks is part of me as well. Yeah.
Okay. So we only have one segment fleshed out, but it's happening right now. Every time we have a guest on the show, we ask them the same question. I hope you're ready for it because it's a little saucy.
Okay. Oh dear God.
So
All right.
it's time for Ask That Question.
Is it a sex question? Can I guess what it is ahead of time?
Yeah. Oh God, if you can guess it. Yeah, it is a sex question.
Oh, okay. Is it related to Wild RP?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I know the question, but go ahead and ask.
Okay, yeah. Okay, the question is, if you could smash any character in real life, who would it be and why?
What? Oh no, this is too complicated. I have to think about this.
Yeah. So most of the time people have to think.
Yeah.
So usually we just kind of let that question simmer. And you can think about it. And we can come back to it later.
Not Sparks, but me as
You.
PB.
Yes, PB.
Yeah, okay.
Who would PB just like to take on a very romantic date or not romantic and the night turns out well?
I have to think about that.
Turns out really good. Okay.
I'll think on it.
Think about it. Think about it. We'll come back to it.
Frankie.
Really?
Probably. I don't know. There's probably a lot. There's probably a lot of people. They are really good fucking characters on the server.
There are some really good characters. You could do top 5 if you want. We've had people do that before.
Okay. Oh God, I'll try. But it's tough because everybody does such a good job of like
I know.
making people real and non two-dimensional. They're making real people, and so yeah.
And almost everyone is attractive.
Yeah, well, because the game doesn't let you do it any other way.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen Tommy Two Snakes?
I have met Tommy. I've had conversations with Tommy before I realized he was a very dangerous man.
Really?
Which is just like it's just like my luck, I guess. I run into people and I'll have aside from that one attack, I haven't been robbed. Nobody's been, it's insane. Does Cooter make the list? Someone asks. No, I don't think Cooter makes my list. So yeah, no, I'd have to. Pigman? No, I can't do that. Is there somebody that rolls around with a pig face on the server?
That's Moon's new character.
It's whose new character?
Moon's.
No. Yeah, no thanks. Nope. Definitely
I don't
not.
know
Cooter's
if I don't know if I think they just were messing around him and Verts, but it was awesome. You should. You
Yeah.
don't really watch. You don't really watch it though, right? Because you like to stay away from all the meta.
Yeah, if it's like somewhere near me, then I try to avoid it. But
Mhm.
if it's, if I feel like it's unrelated to what's going on in Rhodes or my character, then I don't mind watching at all. Like I joined the server because I was watching Myth play the barman in the barman arc,
Yeah.
which I found very, very entertaining and fascinating. And that's actually my first encounter, I guess, with Tommy. But I didn't know that it was the same guy. So when I got on the server and I had a
Mhm.
conversation with him, I was like, oh, cool. I'm just this nice fella here who's being so nice to me right now. And then Myth was like, that's the guy that you were freaking out about in my chat. And I was like, wait, what? The guy who like threatened you and got all serious and his voice just like completely changed? That's him? Yeah, that's the same guy. And I was like, oh my God. Like I had no idea. And
Yeah.
I love that shit because there are a lot of people on the server that are playing such good criminals where they are buying roles from me, and then 2 days later I hear that they fucking ripped a man open with a knife from navel to I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I can't believe that that's true. So they do a really good job of, flipping that switch, which is very, very cool. And I don't think I could play a good criminal. I really don't. I think that would be too hard for me. Um, yeah.
Criminals are hard.
Yeah.
They are hard. They're so good though.
Yes. The good ones are, yeah, very, very needed. Very much needed.
Mhm.
I also happen to think Otto is very, very amazing. Can you hear
Yeah.
my cat?
I heard
Okay.
your cat.
Sorry. He's
Cat
gonna.
hungry?
Yep. It's 3 a.m. You're still awake. He's gonna talk to me now. So you just have to deal with that. I'm sorry.
That's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could play criminal because I think that you're a really good role player and really that's all it
Sorry.
that's all it takes. Take it.
Okay.
A compliment. That's all it takes, right? Like I mean
Mm-hmm.
you get in the situation and you're like, God, this character is so sweet and vulnerable, and then you rob him anyways.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't
You don't think you
know.
could do
I
that?
don't. Well,
I
this is
robbed
gonna
Molly.
sound terrible. This is gonna sound terrible, but
Okay.
I think I'd have a problem killing the horses more than I would have a problem robbing people. I just can't. And I know you kind of like have to do that. Like I'm terrified for the day that somebody comes after Sparks again because I will have to shoot a horse. I'm gonna have to do that. And it's like I don't want to do that.
Why not shoot the
But
person?
what?
Why not shoot the person?
Are you kidding me? You'd try to shoot the person before you'd shoot the very large horse riding behind you? Shoot the horse first, then shoot the person. What are they gonna do? They're gonna run away on their feet and you're gonna chase them down on your horse and then you're gonna shoot them as they're running away from you.
Oh my
That's what you'll
God.
do. Yeah.
Oh, as a
Maybe I
criminal.
could play a criminal.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
Wow. I was thinking about Sparks. I was like, Sparks could just like she won't have to shoot a horse. She could just shoot the person on the horse. But
Yeah, she probably could, but I think
you want to? Wow.
No, I think that for safety's sake, I think you would shoot the horse. You wouldn't try to shoot the person. You wouldn't run them down or anything, but you would shoot the horse immediately so that they couldn't come after you, and then you run
Yeah.
away. And that's what you do as a civilian, I think. So
When I chase people, I always try to shoot the people. I don't know.
well, that's good. That's good.
So we have rules, and it depends on who you're chasing. But like if I'm chasing someone who just did something stupid and then is running from us for no good reason, then I'm not gonna shoot him.
Yeah, you're not. But I mean, like if you've got somebody, yeah, I feel like after Sparks's accident, if anybody comes chasing after her ever again, she will shoot the horse for sure. She'll shoot the horse. She'll be very upset and sad about it, but she'll shoot the horse and get away because she don't want that shit coming back. But yeah, ooh,
yeah,
little stuff. I think I just realized that I can actually play a criminal, and I don't know how I feel about it. Okay.
I think you should.
No, I told myself I have a very dear friend that I originally was like, please come play this game with me because I just want to be a cowboy with you.
Hmm.
And if he were to come on and play, I feel like he's one of the only people I would feel safe enough being a criminal with because I know that I don't know, I just would feel okay being a
Safe
terrible
enough.
person role playing alongside him. I feel like he'd make me feel safe enough to do that, where I
Hmm.
wouldn't walk away from the game being like, I am a monster and just lay awake all night and be like, oh, that came from me somewhere in there. Ugh, you know?
Aw,
But
you're too wholesome. Just gotta let it
well,
all
now I
out.
have to play a criminal. How
Yeah.
dare you? I'm not too wholesome.
All right.
That's it. I'm gonna play a criminal, and that criminal is probably gonna have it out with McGregor.
I'll just roll
Coming
on a
after
criminal
you.
too. I already have
Yeah.
one.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've got
Other than your
Billy
red water
fucking
runner.
Billy fucking Beta. Billy Beta.
Oh no.
The
And who is Billy Beater?
he's an orphaned kid from the east end of London who used to beat other kids up so he could survive, and he he had to flee to the crossing, and he just robs people. He's looking for
Oh
a
wow.
crew currently because I've only played him like twice because I'm always on McGregor. But the first person he robbed, are you okay with a little bit of meta?
Yeah.
The
Is this
first
someone I know?
the first person he robbed on the server was
Was it
looking.
me?
I know.
No,
I
I'm
was looking
kidding.
for someone to rob all
Mhm.
night, and the only person I saw alone was Molly Mills. And OOC, I'm like, oh fuck, I have to rob
No,
Molly.
you have to
But in
rob
character, he doesn't
Molly.
know who she is. So he holds
Yeah.
her up and he's like, all right, give me all your fucking money right now. And she's like, please don't hurt me. And he's like, well, calm down. It's okay. I'm just going to rob you. I ain't going to hurt you. And
Yeah.
he takes this sweet gun that she has.
Oh.
And the whole server is after him. She tells Molly Mills
Everyone.
tells all of her criminal friends and all of her law friends that someone took her gun, and
She has criminal friends?
she does. She's friends with everybody.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if she knows that they're criminals or knows how awful
She
they
just
are.
is talking about
She's just
it.
talking
And
about
yeah.
this person took my
Yeah.
gun, and they're like, what did he look like? And she
Yeah. She's
She
just
had-
like, oh, you know what? This and that. You know,
I
just giving
got to look
information
at the
like-
report on McGregor, and I was like,
Mhm.
she said every single thing I was wearing down to the smallest detail. She's like,
I
I'm
can't
terrible at
remember that. And also, I
Like,
purposely
swearing
try not to
dark?
pay attention to that because I don't think you'd remember in character.
Right. Well, I don't
You know?
remember because
Or at least
adrenaline's
I
pumping
wouldn't.
through me and my fingers shaking over my
Exactly.
mouse. And I'm like, he was
Exactly.
wearing dark clothes, I think.
Yeah. Like,
But
did he have a beard? I don't know.
she described him perfectly. He got caught and he had to give
Yeah, I
he gave the gun back. He made a deal to give the gun back. But people still are like, you're that guy who stole from Molly? You still have the gun? Because if you do, we have a problem. And he's like, I gave it back.
I gave
I
it
don't
back.
have the fucking gun, all right? Who is this
Fantastic,
Molly
I gave it
Mills
back.
person? So yeah, that's my short experience as a criminal. But I love playing criminals. I haven't really had the time to do it. But maybe I'll have some more time
Maybe one day.
one day.
What would you do if McGregor permit? Or do you have permit conditions? Actually,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know not
I
everybody
do.
does.
Like I don't have anything specific. I'm just like if it feels right. So actually, I was
Yeah.
talking to Jam about this, and so I almost perma'd Otis when he got really seriously injured, and I ended up putting him in a coma for 30 days because I couldn't play him. But I almost perma'd him, and I kind of wish that I had.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't own any dice. I've played tabletop D&D once in my life.
Yeah.
I wish I had played more, but I've only ever played like online with people. So I don't have any
Yeah, so you
physical
don't have
dice.
dice.
I should order some.
Yeah,
Um,
or you could just like roll in a new tab. You could have something roll.
yeah,
But there is something satisfying about rolling your
physically.
death save, like
Hmm.
physically. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
So I did some Conan roleplay, and they had a mod built into Conan where there was actually dice rolling, and
Ooh.
you could roll super easy, and you can do it in text too. They actually had it built in where you could create like a character sheet, and you'd get pluses to your rolls based on if you have strength or wisdom or whatever. So Constitution, obviously. So I actually ended up perming a character with death rolls. He rolled like a like a 4 and then a nat 1, and I was like, all right,
Yep, there you go. That's it.
but yeah, I think when I was doing my first probationary month, I was like, I know he's gonna get a lot of gunfights, but I don't want to perma him this early because I feel like it wouldn't have much of an impact on the server. Like, people don't really know him that well. He's just that new deputy.
Hmm.
If he dies right now. So I actually role played all my injuries. I got down 4 times in gunfights the entire time I've played him, but they all happened like in the first month I was playing him. And I was like, let's make them all relatively minor injuries. The 4th one, I was like, okay, he got shot in the hip and that one hurt, and I rested him for a few days.
Yeah.
But the other 3 were like, he got shot in the shoulder, he got shot in the arm, stuff like that. Because those were OSC decisions where I was like, I'm in control of this, and I don't want to perma him yet. But
Yeah.
now I'm in a situation where like he's well known. People know who he is. Like, if he died, that would mean something to a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna order a set of dice.
Do it right now. No, I'm just kidding. Not now. But yes, you should do that because it's fun.
Yeah, I
It's
think
also just stressful to put it all up to chance, which I think is cool.
yeah.
Sad, but cool sometimes.
Oh God, I don't know what I'd do if McGregor was
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. Would you roll up another lawman, or would you just
I
like
could.
sit and deal with it?
I'd play a criminal and
Yeah,
kill
get all the
law.
rage out.
Get all
Yeah.
the rage out and attack the law for not saving McGregor. Why are
Yeah.
you doing this to us? And I just don't
No
like
reason.
you for some reason.
I don't know what it is.
Something about you not
I'm
taking care of
unhinged.
your own.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do if Sparks died, but I did exactly what McGregor said tonight, where he was like, "I'm fucking worried about the partner behind you." I was like, "Yeah, I have been too." So I rolled up another character that I was like, "I think shit's gonna pop off here." And hopefully nobody gives a shit about Sparks and the wildflower, but I know that's not how this shit works. And I know that that's not how it works on the server as well, right? Because in real life, I think people might be a little bit more like, okay, well, she doesn't have anything to, and that's more of a headache than it's worth. But on the server, you don't really have that protection as a civilian. You have like, oh, they can just roll up another character, sort of that like subconscious meta of like, oh, it's not that big of a deal to kill this civilian.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have that protection, and it's just kind of, yeah. I rolled up another character thinking like, if something happened to her, I can just immediately start playing this character, or I can log in, play her a little bit so that people start to know that she exists. And then if something happens to Sparks, I have something to fall back on and not immediately like cry into a corner about her. But I'd be very upset. I had another thought though, that was like, what if Sparks was a criminal? Not that I was actually considering doing this, but it was just a thought of like the impact that would have on the entirety of Rhodes and everybody that knows her if she went dark side like that. And I went, oh my God, anytime I want to play a criminal, I will absolutely start them neutral, and I'll do the long con. I'll do a long game of like, let them be organic and know everybody. And then, because then everybody knows who you are, and you're not just like a new criminal that rolls up on day one, you know? So I think that would be fun. It'd be a lot of work because you'd have to be around for like months at a time, or months before you go dark side.
Basically roll a civilian for like a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
or longer, and
Yeah.
then start like trying to do something shady, and you really have to be really, really careful and secretive about it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually kind of want to ask you about
Mhm.
I want to ask you about how you turn your role play into like media. You record it and then you edit it
Mhm.
down?
Yeah. So, I'll record specific scenes. So,
Mhm.
like when Panda came up as Heart and was like, so what happened with that was really cool. The Sparks heart stuff is so insane when I look at it removed because the first interaction they ever had was the day Michael was taken. And the story I was telling you earlier, where I had to like walk all the way to try to get help, and
Mhm.
no one was around. I ran into Oglethorpe and Blackwater, and I was like, I'm looking for like, Checkers or Dallas or any of the. I just saw them. They were there, and they're headed back to Rhodes. So I like steal a horse and like heading to Rhodes,
Mhm.
and it's just like I come into town and no one's there except for Hart, who's right outside the bank. I didn't know him at the time, and he wasn't Law at the time, but I think he was applying to be Law. And I came in, I was like panicked, upset, and he tried to calm me down. He gave me his coat. He was very nice. And then he was like, do you want me to go get Law? And Sparks was just like, absolutely not. I fucking hate Law. You're not doing that. And he was just like so taken aback by it. He was like, like, okay, is this a criminal? I think is what he immediately thought. But Sparks is like, no, they're going to tell me to sit my ass here and I can't go look for him. And I just want to be there. I want to go look for him right now. And I'm not going to let anybody stop me from doing that. So then Dallas and Frankie roll in, and then they go right off together to try to find him. And they did end up finding him. And oh, that was so good. But like, so that was our first encounter. And then I think the second encounter after that was when he tried to manipulate her after her accident.
Mm. Mhm.
So it's just like some not great encounters. Then she apologizes after, because then she gets involved with Harper, right? And then it's like, oh, Harper, like, she's going to try to be nice to everybody in Law and, blah, blah, blah. So she apologizes to him outside the telegram office in Rhodes. And as she's walking away, he goes, are you still having the nightmares? And I was like, dude, excuse me. But it was good because, obviously after a very traumatic experience like Sparks's attack, yes. And I happen to be playing, I have PTSD, and so I'm playing Sparks as an unchecked version of my PTSD a lot of the time,
Mhm.
where if a situation comes up and I have an initial reaction, normally I would like quell that reaction, or I would go through a dialogue in my brain to be like, okay, that's not what's happening, to just stay calm or whatever.
Right.
And I just open that door and leave it unchecked for Sparks. So the fact that he said that and kind of identified that, I went, oh wow, okay. And so I just, it was like an open door for a cool RP scene. And then we had this really emotional scene where he told me what happened to him in his accident. And it was just like incredibly emotional, and it was lovely. And as we were going, I hit record because I was like, I, I'm not streaming. He's not streaming.
Right.
But if it's a crazy good scene, which it was, he killed it. It was so good. He made me cry.
Yeah.
And I want the world to see that performance. Like, ultimately, you're performing for the player beside you, right?
Right.
It's just, you're doing that together. But also, like, it was so good that I felt like the world needed to see it. So yes, that is what I do. I will, for the most part, I'm playing offline in my own time, and then if something cool happens, I will record it and I play music. Like, I've got like a score, and I try to make it as cinematic as possible, and I'll
Mhm.
just share those little scenes when they're done. And yeah, that was a very long way to explain
No,
what I do. But yeah,
that's what I wanted. So thank you.
yeah.
That's
Hmm.
really cool.
Hmm.
That's great. And
Yeah.
then you don't really stream a whole lot on the server though, do you?
No, I don't.
Mhm.
And I have learned that gets me some really cool scenes, which I didn't realize was a thing. But
Really?
sometimes people will, I guess like it's like meta in a way, but it's to avoid meta. Like they'll look and be
Yeah.
like, oh, this person is not streaming. So I will have this conversation now because I'm not at risk of somebody accidentally spreading information and
Right.
getting my character killed. So I've ended up having some really cool scenes because of that. And I am sitting on them. I can't share them yet because I've talked to the player and I'm like, dude, you said this shit. And like, I know we want to believe that no one's going to meta. And I think a lot of the players on the server wouldn't, but I know, no offense to y'all in the chat, sometimes you just say stuff like Molly's a criminal. I didn't know that. You know, that kind of stuff.
She's not a criminal. They just shout that in my chat all the time.
Oh,
they think she's
okay.
a criminal.
They think she's a mastermind.
werewolf
Okay.
criminal mastermind.
Oh,
Stop
okay.
it, chat.
Molly? Well, I mean, she does. Have you read her books?
I have I got the first 2 copies of her, or first copy of her book that's 2 journals, and I read it out loud on stream one night to a group of people.
Awesome.
And it was really good.
I have one. Sparks has one that is not, it's the only copy, and she has it and hasn't read it yet. But what happened the last time we had one was we were all around a campfire and Michael read it out. So we should totally do that at some point.
Yeah.
Because she does write good stories. So maybe she is a mastermind. Maybe I'm with your chat now. Chat, I might be with you. She's got some good ideas.
There's only a couple of them that believe it, but well, it's actually growing.
Yep.
More of it now. Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, no, there's more now.
So, you don't just do. You're pretty new to this, right? Like you did Atlas, and then was this the second time?
Yeah. This is the only other time I've done RP quite like this, and my Atlas experience was pretty limited because I couldn't like get on at the same time as a lot of the other people that were playing, and yeah. So this is. I would really consider this like my first dive into it. Whereas the other one was, Atlas was just I want to say even like 4 or 5 times that I was able to log on and play. So it wasn't that much. I got on, we did a couple of scenes and I died. I perma'd because it was just so great. They lit me on fire for the death of my brother, and he fell down a cliff while we were having a conversation, and no one believed me. He did. He tripped and fell.
I remember that.
Brad tripped and fell. You son of a bitch. Yeah. And then he wasn't even dead, the motherfucker. Like they just lit me on fire, accused me of fucking killing him. And then he shows up like a day later, like, hey, I fell down this cliff.
And they were like,
oh, wait, what? We killed Mallory because we thought she killed you.
Oh, well.
Whoops. Yeah, but it was good. It was good shit. Very, very good.
That's awesome. I remember that, actually. I think I remember hearing about that. I don't remember if I heard about it in character or I saw it on someone's stream, but
yeah.
It's so funny. But so this is like your first experience, and you get your first experience on Wild RP. Can I tell you a secret about Wild RP?
Sure.
It is very top tier as far as roleplay servers go.
Yeah.
You know that? You're aware of this?
Well, I mean, I don't, because I haven't had any experience at any other server, but I've had an incredible experience on this one. So I know that nearly everybody that I run into is Pearly is the best role player on the server. Whoever plays Pearly, there is not a moment that man is not in character.
I don't know who Pearly is.
You don't know Pearly? Oh my God. Oh man. Okay. Well, you have to come to Rhodes more often. And I'm not going to say anything else because you really should just meet him.
Okay.
But like every time I'm in a scene with him, he elevates and it makes me want to be better. He's just so fucking good.
I love people like that.
I can't stand it.
I think you're like that. You elevate.
Okay, compliments. But I feel like I sometimes break, or like the other night when I was telling you an actual story from my real life. It's probably something I shouldn't have done, but also if I had maybe just said like a fire wagon, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, you know, those kinds of things where
you're so excited about telling the story though.
Dude. Well, because we were telling scary stories. And so, you know, I was like, I have a legit one from my real life too, I guess. But yeah, so I got too excited to do that. But it was weird because it did pull me out a little bit. I remembered like, oh, I'm PB here. But yeah, it's like, yeah, there's some players, or for example, whoever's behind Otto. he can just have a conversation, which sometimes is very difficult to do, I think, in character, where he's just like, we went to the taxidermy place.
Mhm.
Sorry, mild meta. We went to the taxidermy place and we were like looking around, and he was just able to interact with the world in a way that felt very real at all times. He's like, "Well, look at that fucking thing," like that thing's huge, just like just in a way that a lot of people will struggle with on the server, myself
Mhm.
included sometimes. So it's just like, yeah, there are a lot of really, really talented players on the server,
Yeah.
and everybody can switch between like comedy and serious very easily, which is nice
It
because
also
everybody
causes a lot of
understands.
problems, like when
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people in roads that are like in this comedy scene, and then the
Mhm.
law rides in, and we just had a shootout, and there's
Mhm.
people dying in the town next over. We're like,
Mhm. And
stop
Nora's
what you're
getting choked
doing.
out in the street.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
you guys are
Mhm.
messing around, tackling each other. We're like pointing our guns at you.
Stop it.
What are you doing?
Listen, man, Rhodes Rover is the best thing to happen to Rhodes, okay? It's such a good game. It's
Roads
so good.
Rover?
Yeah, so we actually stand in two separate lines and we play whatever the fuck the rover game is in real life, where somebody runs at the line at the other side and tries to tackle that person. And
Yeah.
if they manage to tackle them, they bring them back over. But if they don't manage to tackle them, they stay over on that side. And whichever one has people at the end wins.
Yeah.
So we're able to play that. Red Rover, yeah, that's the actual name for it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like yeah, it's fucking awesome.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's been times like tonight actually, I was coming from like a stressful situation where I just got robbed for the second time. And
I
then
can't believe you got robbed twice
I got
today.
robbed twice, yeah. Got robbed for the second time. Come out of Valentine because like we were just about to start writing the report, and then we get a tip
Mhm.
that there's like crazy shit happening in Saint Denis, which
Yeah.
he told Sparks about on the way.
Yeah.
And he rides into town, and he goes takes care of the crazy shit in Saint Denis. He comes back, and there's just chaos in the sheriff's office. There's just a few deputies in there. They're trying to like sort out all these arrests, and people are Clive and some other people are like on the front porch, and they're like having some comedy RP where he's like, I just want to say goodbye to mama. And McGregor's like, get off the porch, or you can say goodbye to her in the
I
cell.
heard you. I heard you say that. Do you want to know why I heard you saying that?
Why?
Because Mama hired me to take a photo of her in the prison flipping everybody off. So I did hear you, and we were having a comedy scene, sort of. But the moment you came in and were like, "I'm arresting everybody on this porch," I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go."
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
OOC, I feel bad about like breaking those comedy scenes up. And like but it was a really stressful moment for the law where we're
yeah,
like
of
trying to
course.
sort all this stuff out, and it's confusing, and there's civilians on the porch, and we've had situations in the past where like the civilians on the porch end up like
Are
taking a
not.
hostage and then try to
Yeah,
free their friend.
yeah.
So it can get really dicey there. So yeah, there is a rule where people aren't supposed to be on the porch in situations like that.
Hmm.
But
That's totally true.
yeah, but yeah,
But
that's how
like
it goes sometimes.
civilians are, sometimes we're just farting around. But I think that that's really cool.
It
I think
is.
that being able to fart around and then you guys be like, guys, can knock it off,
Yeah.
is good for us and you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all at the end of the day, it's all stuff that you fuel for role play.
Yeah. And
A
and
question in the chat. Should I answer it?
yeah.
From,
What's the question?
do you find tabletop RPG role play or wild RP more intense? From Dirk. Tabletop role play can be a bit more intense, I think, for
Yeah.
me. At least I feel like I've had more intense, but maybe that's just my experience with tabletop is more. I have more experience with that than I do with this, I think. I mean, I've had some pretty intense moments, but it doesn't really top the situation of tabletop. I don't know why, which is weird because I have more to play with in the game. Like I have visuals, I have sounds, and I don't know. I don't know. I
Maybe,
don't
I
know.
mean, I I think that I think you're right though. I think you have just so much more experience with tabletop. It's like you have
Yeah.
a lot more has happened to you in that universe.
Yeah.
Tell me about your tabletop. Like when did that start? Have you been doing tabletop role play for like a really long time or?
Yes and no. I did a little bit when hold on, my cat is about to come in and join the conversation. Hello.
Hello, cat.
I did a little bit, like I think my first D&D game I played when I was like 15 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on a super long kind of hiatus from it where I wasn't playing at all. And then I met somebody on Twitch and I was watching him play. I think he was streaming a game that he was in. He wasn't GMing it. And this is Jay Brotato. So I don't know if you know Brotato on Twitch, but it's him, and I know because we lived nearby and I knew him. And so I was watching him play, and then at one point they just asked me to come be on a show over on Table Story, and then yeah, I like fell back into it that way, I suppose, and I fell back in a like really deep way. Like I just did it a lot and
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed it. So yeah, I've been on a lot of different shows and done a lot of different things on other channels and stuff too, and came back to GMing as well.
Aw.
Sorry, he very much wants attention right now.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's awesome. I work. I have a job and I also do
Mm-hmm.
this full time. So I don't really get a lot of time to watch Twitch, but I've seen bits and pieces of Table Story and it looks really, really cool. I think what you
Yeah.
guys do over there is awesome. If anybody in chat does not know what Table Story is, you should go and check it out. Absolutely.
Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
It's so
We've got
cool.
something for everyone, and one day I will do a Western.
One
There's
day you'll do a
already a
Western.
really cool D&D fantasy Western,
Mhm.
Dustvale, which you can check out if you're really enjoying, if you want trains and guns and all that kind of stuff, and also fantasy and magic. DM'd by my friend Bradley, who played in my brother in the Golden Rose that we were talking about earlier.
Mr. Woto.
And so Mr. Woto, you should go check that out. And I mean, there's some other stuff. If you want to piss your pants laughing, go watch Ungodly. It's only like 7 episodes long, and it's like Monty Python in hell. It's some surreal comedy, and it's like a fever dream. If you asked me to tell you what happened in that campaign, I can't. So
it's just funny. I just know it was really funny.
Yeah, I just know I nearly pissed myself like 4 times. So it's good. Go watch it. Yeah, and I've done like horror, which you won't be able to watch. And I've done like a surreal existential exploration as well. So there's something for everybody on that channel. Yeah. So the stuff that I've GM'd is the surreal comedy, the existential crisis, the game, and a horror game about people trapped in the time loop. Yes,
Ooh.
my love.
That actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah, that's Nocturne. So yeah, Nocturne, Gone, and Ungodly. If you want to see what I've GM'd, I've done some other stuff too, but those are the main ones.
Where can we find that?
So if you go to tablestory.tv, you can click on me, or you can find us on YouTube or Twitch, and the collections are listed there.
Guys, go check it out.
Yeah.
Table Story is amazing. I remember I heard about Table Story a long time ago, like when I first got into Twitch, which was when I started playing on Atlas. Oh. No, it's totally fine. Totally fine. The cats make the internet work. It's like without them,
for those
there would be
listening
no
and not watching the podcast,
there's a cat.
There you go.
Yeah. So
anyway, you were saying when you first got into Twitch, you heard
when
about Table Story?
How did I hear? So like I said, that one of my first scenes was with Brad, And I remember I had to log out at the end of that scene. Like I had to go to work soon. I had to take a shower, and I was like, I was playing my little. Can I do his voice? It's kind of similar to McGregor's. Yeah, I really gotta go though. Like I have to leave now. And so I left, and I was like, I feel like this was on the whitelist part of the server, so I was like, I feel like maybe somebody was streaming there. I looked it up. I was like, oh, it's this Brad Woto person. Who's this? And I like go in a chat. I'm like, hey man, thanks for the scene. That was really fun. And he, did his Brad thing, and he actually is really nice guy.
He did his Brad thing. What do you mean?
His
Please tell
Brad
me
thing
what
with
you.
his Brad voice and his Brad words. I don't know.
Yeah, where he's just kind of like banning people every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I was there for that. He didn't ban me. You want to know why? Because I typed in chat, "Ban me if you love me," and that's
Oh,
how
and
you
then he
save
was like,
yourself.
"Fuck you."
He was like, "Fuck this guy."
Fuck this random guy.
No, but I
Yeah,
remember
my first time in Brad's chat, he literally stopped everything. He stopped the entire stream to upload an emote of a trash bag and had his chat spam it for me. The human trash, I think is what he called me. And I was like, this man is my new best friend.
Do you know him before this?
Not really, no. Like I was on a show on Table Story, and it's his like channel, so like I think
Okay, yeah.
we kind of knew of each other, but yeah, we didn't know each other, and that was fun.
He was
It's
actually
like in
really
that
nice
moment.
to me.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
So
That's good.
funny.
I'm glad. Good for you. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, that's kind of how that was my first experience with Brad.
That's so good.
But for me, I was like, this person's my people, so it was good.
Now I feel like maybe he actually does hate me if he's not insulting me.
No, I think it's if he I think if he doesn't really know you that well. He's actually incredibly nice to, I'd say,
Strangers.
most people, unless
Okay.
they're coming, it's strangers, but I feel like he I think when he gets to know you a little bit better, then he'll kind of like push that comedy line, because he's a comedian at heart through and through.
He's
and
so funny.
He's always trying to like push that line. He's so fucking funny.
He is.
Yeah, and he's always trying to push that line. So yeah. Bees, hello.
Hey B.
Sorry I didn't get to talk to you.
Have a good flight. Have a good vacation. That's B. She's the co-host of this show. Bye, B.
Yes, please. We will have time to talk soon, she said, for those listening.
Also, hi, Orgish. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. It's totally fine. You got stuff to do. I got this. We have a really entertaining guest who can't take compliments. So
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
going to keep picking on her with that. By the way, it's been 46 minutes. I think that's enough time for you to tell us who you would
the
smash.
other people that I would smash.
Oh,
okay.
wait,
hold on.
is Frankie
What?
one of them? Checkers?
Yeah, Frankie's one of them. Yeah, straight up, dude. Are you kidding me?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you saying you wouldn't?
I'm not. Me and B have not revealed who our.
Well, that's not fair. We have to answer, but you don't answer.
It's our show. We can
I
do
know,
what we
but
want.
like, come on. All right. Yeah. No, Frankie is my final answer for now. I think there's a lot though.
Yeah.
Yep. So maybe
Okay.
we'll just leave it at.
Frankie. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll let her know.
Trench's character, Herbie.
Really?
Herbie would be a fucking goddamn smash. Are you kidding me?
I don't
Straight
really
up.
know Herbie. Hoivy.
Yeah.
I don't really know Herbie that well, but
Herbie's on there. Yeah. It's literally, it goes by anybody who can make me laugh that I'm breaking character, is their characters on that list for sure. Hands down.
Nice. Okay.
On the sex cannon?
Trench
No,
just
not
showed
on the
up.
sex
Look
cannon.
at that. Perfect timing.
Jesus. Hello. Well, that's embarrassing. Okay, bye.
Nice.
Speaking of, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, okay. So you do table story stuff. You you do an incredible job role playing on the server, and then
Mm-hmm.
and you make videos out of that, which are really
Mm-hmm.
entertaining.
I
And
do.
then you also stream just other games. I know that you did a playthrough of Red Dead Redemption, didn't you?
Yes, I
Red Dead
did.
2?
Yes, I did. And it has ruined my life. I don't know if there will ever be a game quite like that one. There's just
Wow.
something about the character development. Um, yeah, it's yeah, usually on stream I'll play something that's like story driven, something that makes
Mm-hmm.
me feel something or lets me analyze something. I really enjoy that kind of a game. And then oh boy. Yeah, I used to do wedding photography and then I stopped that to do streaming and like role play and stuff like that. So, those are the things that I do. That's me.
So that's like that's your full-time gig then, is you do Table
Mhm.
Story and you stream on Twitch.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
love it?
I I do. And I was doing I was doing the work and stream and trying to do both of those things for a long time. And then I was considering leaving anyway, the wedding photography, because it's a lot. It's really, really difficult to do,
Mm-hmm.
both of those things. And it's, I was on my way out of it, and then COVID happened and weddings completely stopped. So I was like, well, this is kind of, there it is. Like I have some stuff where people are rescheduling for the next year, but also some stuff that's just completely canceled. So
Mm-hmm.
then it was like full-time streaming.
That was and that was a
Mhm.
really good opportunity to move into full-time streaming too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I mean, nothing changed. My schedule didn't change or anything like that. I just am not now working 2 jobs. So,
yeah,
I guess I was already full-time streaming and also trying to juggle wedding photography because it's like
yeah.
wedding photography is this thing where it's this beast where you're working a lot in the summer, but you also just need to detach away from that because you're editing for hours and hours and hours. And then you're doing stuff on the weekend, but then you're back in the office and you're just editing and it's a nightmare. So having streaming and doing something else was just easy to, I guess, like squeeze into that space. And
Mm-hmm.
then before you know it, it's like 3 years, 4 years of me going, what am I doing? I'm literally working 2 jobs for no reason. Why am I doing this? I'm going to die. I'm going to die of stress or something.
That's me in
So
2 years. I'm so excited for that.
mhm. So, yep.
Yes. So
Mhm.
excited. Yeah,
You die young.
I drive school buses. So,
Yeah.
and then I then I do this about 40 hours a week. So
Yeah, you're on a lot. You're
I
on
am on a lot. I think I need
yeah.
to cut back though. I feel like the quality
Yeah.
of my streams are suffering because I do too much and I don't spend enough time doing like the technical side of it. And
Yeah.
like but that's
I don't know.
that's
I don't know though. I don't well, I mean, to each their own and everybody has a different way of going about things, but
yeah.
I feel like it's easy to think like, "Oh, I need this technical thing or I need this piece or that piece." And really at the end of the day, the content is what matters. It's that people have something to watch and
True.
interact with and they don't really care if your camera is this one or that one and
Right.
you know, um
That's easy to
so
say when your stream is like pretty technically like nice.
uh well, but I still mute half the time. I'm not totally on my game. And also, I'm a wedding photographer, so it's so easy for me to do. Like, this is just sitting around my house. So I
Right.
happen to have it. Right. But like, I don't know. I definitely didn't, start that way. And I wasn't really always focused on that. And
Mhm.
there's so much more I could be doing. Like, I feel like it's always a game of,
Yeah.
well, I could be doing that or I could be doing that. And it's like, ultimately, the content is where it's at. So instead of maybe I mean, sometimes you have to do the behind the scenes stuff, but
Right.
most of the time I think it's just holding you back. The idea that, okay, I have to do this thing instead. I want to
Mhm.
make it perfect, or at least maybe that's me. I do that a
No, I
lot.
think that just really spoke to me actually.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're always going to want to make your stream better.
Yeah.
You
That'll never
can't do
change.
everything.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just
You
got to
can't do
be
everything.
you got to
You're
be
always
happy.
going to want to make it better.
Yeah.
And there's always ways to make it better. Like
Yeah.
it'll never be good enough. So, not that it will never be good enough, but in your brain, you'll always be like, well, okay, now this is the next thing that I have to do. And this is the next thing and that. And it's like, ultimately at the end of the day, everybody just wants to hang out with you and watch your content. So
Yeah.
I think you're doing it right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're so nice. Unlike my
The
chat.
compliment. Or are they mean to you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh.
I've weeded a lot of them out.
Oh, okay. My chat can be mean to me too, but it's fine. I like it. It's fun. It keeps me checked. It keeps me grounded.
I think everyone's chat can be mean sometimes. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
It's like mean in a nice way though. But I don't know actually. I don't know if it's mean in a nice way, but I enjoy it because I do something stupid in a game or I say something stupid and all of a sudden my DMs are blowing up with a remix of me saying eat my ass, which is something I was like hacked into me saying it. Or maybe I don't know. No, oh, this is what happened. I said in the game, I shouted at somebody. I was like, eat my ass in the game. Just gamer aggression or whatever.
Right.
And then I turned around and was reading chat and somebody in chat had said, oh my God, imagine. I am imagining. And I read it out loud, but I read it immediately after I said that. So then I ended up getting this remix that was, eat my ass. So I'm imagining it. And it was just like, anyway, stuff like that,
so good.
where you're like, thank you for keeping me grounded, chat, and letting me remember that I am not as cool as I think I am.
Nice. Okay, we don't bring up Kai's feet. Stop.
Wait, what?
No.
What's happening here?
Okay. Look. All right.
Yeah.
I was gushing over someone's RP.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, no, you're so good. I should be kissing your feet,
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Orgish has a thing for Kai's feet. Ooh. And they won't let it go.
Wow.
They won't let it go. Every time Kai comes in my chat,
cool.
they're like, oh, Kai, take your feet out. Orgish is going to go crazy.
Oh, I love it. I love your chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love your chat. For no reason in particular, you can send me that clip if you'd like.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we've done Ask That Question. We've talked about you and what you do, which I love, by the way. When I started streaming, you know how when you get, I don't know, you have a dream about, you're like, this is where I see myself. This is where I want to take this maybe someday. I've always had the dream of doing tabletop RPGs on stream before. That has been something that I've always wanted to do. And I think about it's it's something that just never happened, and it's like it's kind of a big undertaking. It's like something that you need a group and maybe some people with some knowledge to really, in my opinion, to really get that to take off.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about wouldn't it be cool if Wild RP did a one shot?
Yeah, I've thought about that before too. To either do, because the thoughts I've had are okay, how do we make this happen in a way that sort of makes sense? It's okay, what if we get people from in the game to play their characters, playing characters, or do we get them to play their characters in a situation like an alternate reality or an alternate universe, or do we just do a tabletop situation in the world of the
Goblins
game?
and ghouls.
There's a lot that you could do there, and I think we've explored that a little bit in the game actually, where Mythomatic has GM'd G&G nights where we all sit down and we're playing our characters, but our characters are playing characters and playing G&G in the game, and it's we've got a roll 20 that we're rolling, so that we can get our dice and whatnot. We've got our dice sound effects and things like that. So we've explored a little bit of that. And the kicker of that is, if you haven't seen that, you should totally go look at it. And don't watch my streams of it. Go watch Myth's streams of it, because he has a fucking D&D overlay for all of our character portraits in each
No, he
slot like
does
you do.
not.
Yes, he does. And he streams it in the D&D category like a boss. It's
I
so
need that.
good.
I need
Yeah,
that so bad.
it's so good. He
I
made a
really like
whole
this.
overlay for it. It's really wonderful. Yeah, it's baller. So yeah, McGregor just needs to join in on G&G.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, but be careful because it's saucy. There is nothing. Yeah, Nora plays. That should tell you everything that you need to know.
I literally just asked you who you would smash on the server. What exactly
Yeah,
are
okay,
we
that's
worried
fair.
about?
All right. Okay, so Nora
Uh-huh.
commonly refers to Clive's character as my brother, father, lover. And he goes, "Oh, it is my sister, mother, lover." So that's just what to expect a little bit.
Okay.
And she wants
Yeah.
to fuck a hobbit. That's like her goal
Oh
in
yeah,
this game.
I
is
think
to fuck a hobbit.
Trench told me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fuck a hobbit. What if somebody like if somebody rolled in a character and walked up to her and was like slash me barely comes up to her hip? Like, what do you think?
Oh, that has happened.
Has
and
it?
she totally well, yeah. The thing is, I dissociate when I play Nora, and then I come back a couple hours later and I'm like, what just happened? But she said something along the lines of, "You're the perfect height," or "You're the perfect size," or something like that.
Nice.
And it was just like, and I felt really badly because the person who joined in, I think it was Boone. It might have even been, it might have been Boone. Like I met Boone for the first time as Nora. I was the first person he met on the server as Nora. And this has happened to me so many times. It makes me feel so bad. Oh man.
Your assistant. I remember that he was your
assistant to the mayor.
Assistant to the mayor. That's how McGregor and him met, and he was like, "I really appreciate you coming around Rhodes because you guys are never around here."
Yeah.
And what did you do to him?
Well, I think I just relentlessly hit on him for like 2 hours straight. But Nora does this thing where she, especially like in the beginning, she would be like, "Oh, can you say that again, but slower?" She's just incredibly absurd. She's just outrageous.
Nice.
And she's a lot of fun to play. And the reason I actually played Nora and I rolled up Nora was to see if I could play a character that was that I ended up playing on Table Story just recently in a vampire story, because this is so random, but we did a first season of this vampire show, and one of the players played a very traditional vampire, very sexy vampire, very just, kind of like, I don't know, the stereotypical vampire, right? And for the next season, as we were rolling up characters, they were like, "Peebs, you're going to do that this time." And I was like, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I want to do that. And so I rolled up Nora to be like, okay, let's see how comfortable I can be being absolutely absurdly sexual, but in a comedic sense, because then I can get away with it, right?
Right.
And then if I can do that well enough, then yeah, maybe I'll do it in a serious way. And so I was able to do that. But that's the whole reason why I rolled up Nora, was just for that, to see if I could do it.
To see if you could do it. How's it going?
Well, it went well. I played the character for a season. So yeah, it's over. I did it. And it went really well. And I was able to relentlessly hit on people and not feel badly about it. So it was good.
That's awesome.
It was all right. I guess it worked. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My only tabletop experience in real life, I was 19. No, I was 21. And we were playing like at a college.
Are you correcting
house.
that because you're drinking in the story? Like,
And
did you? I'm 19. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I was 21.
No. I remembered that I was the person that bought people beer. So I was like, no, wait.
Oh, no, I had to have been 21. No, you weren't using a fake
people
ID.
Beer
You
that
were really
also were 21. Anyways, so I I rolled in a character. I had no idea what I was doing. The DM was the only person who did know what they were doing, and they were like, "All right, you've come up to a fortress, and there are a couple like goblins in front of it, and there's some arrow, I forget what they're called, but those like arrow holes and stuff in there. And he described the castle, and like, all right, I'm gonna charge the first goblin.
Oh no.
and he's like, so you're gonna sprint? And I was like, yes, sprint as fast as I can. He's like, okay, roll. I rolled like a 2, and he's like, okay, slip and fall, and you're now prone on the ground. And then the goblin shoots an arrow and hits him in the neck, and he dies.
Yep. Oh no.
My character died in the first combat.
Yeah.
And
that is not fun. But also
so
fun.
Great. It was so great. I was like, wait, does that mean I'm like, that's it? It's over? And he was like, yeah, you're gonna have to sit out for a little while. He like, it was our first time playing, so he like figured out a way to resurrect me as like a centaur. It was ridiculous, but and the first scene I had in that game, I did not understand what was happening. We were in like a pub and or a tavern or whatever.
Don't say. D&D almost always starts in a tavern.
Does
anyway,
it really?
Continue. Sometimes, yeah.
So we were in a tavern, and there was these orcs at another table, and they were like laughing at us and like making fun of us. So I cut their heads off and put them. I was like, I want to cut their heads off and put them on a pike out in the middle of the town. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that. I thought orcs were bad, and that was okay to do.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
The guards came, and we had to run.
You have to run because you fucking murdered people, and you're judging me for saying shoot the horse. Get out of there! Shoot the horse.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was in like video game mindset where it's like, okay, we're here to combat, right? Let's kill some stuff. These are bad guys.
Call that murder hobo.
Murder hobo. I was a murder hobo. My first experience, and it didn't turn out well for my character.
You don't say.
So that was my first and only experience in real life, like TTRPG.
Yeah.
Like in person.
I've played more online tabletop RPG now at this stage than I have played in person. So yeah, it's in some ways it's a bit of a bummer. Like there are some things where I'm like, oh man, I wish we were doing this in person because I could utilize the space that we could actually, I could reach out and I could look at somebody in the eye and, kind of have that connection, which you can't really do online. But there's so much cool stuff that we can do when we're online with the matching music, the blacking out our cameras to be not in the scene and, just like cool special effects and things like that. So
cool.
There's pluses and minuses to each. Can I just shout out to Tank Girl in the chat because she plays Effie.
GG, yeah, hey.
Yeah, she plays Effie May. And I have to tell you, so Effie May choked Nora out in the mansion, and it was amazing. I fucking loved it. But Sparks and Effie,
you look like you could use a
I think
hug.
Sparks had a interaction with Effie when she was at the back in Valentine when she was bathing people, and it was not a good interaction. So my character Sparks has just been like, oh, that fucking Effie May girl, like the whole time. Just this is kind of like a joke. But I know Tank because I watched her online Rust wedding because she's married to Verts, right? Vertigo, who's good friends with Brad. And so Brad was at that wedding and I was watching the wedding and I love her. And then so to have that interaction with my character and be like, oh, Sparks doesn't like her, so I never get to role play with her. And then as Nora, I got to role play with her and I was like, yes, it's so good. So yeah, I just wanted to shout out to her because she plays a character I really like. Yeah, she plays a character I fucking love. It's just, like Sparks doesn't. She does now, though. She does now. I will say that. Sparks has had a change of heart with Effie, which is wonderful. Thank God. Because Effie's such a badass.
She is. Effie's very cool. And Effie and McGregor have had some really, really good scenes. Yeah. Where is Effie right now, Tank Girl? Asking.
She's in jail, isn't she?
No.
She's serving time. dude, imagine, sorry, excuse me.
No,
Imagine having the balls to be like, yeah, this guy comes around, I'm going to fucking kill him. Then she does it. And then she's like, yeah, by the way, I did that. She just walks into town and is like, yeah, I killed this guy, by the way. So, you know, if you want to arrest me, it's cool.
Oof.
Yeah, I know it. I did it. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Such a badass.
Her character's been on a roller coaster ride too. Like,
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
it's been very, very good. I had her record a couple things for my channel that my chat can redeem for channel points, and one of them, "Shut Up, McGregor."
Can we hear this?
How
many channel points is it? Do I have enough?
It's only 1,000. I turned it off, but I can turn it back on if you.
Yeah, turn it on for just a second. Nobody redeem it except for me.
You won't be able to hear it.
I'll pay for it
unless you have the stream unmuted.
Oh, right. Okay, I can do that.
1,700
My
points.
favorite deputy.
I have just enough.
Shut
Go.
up, McGregor.
Perfect. Did you not hear it? Did you hear it?
No, I did. My favorite deputy, and then shut up, McGregor. So good.
Yeah, so depending on the chat's mood, those sometimes get spammed, and I have to tell them to shut up.
You cannot build in front of Countdown.
All right, Carter's dead, guys. Stop it.
Oh.
All right. So yeah, I think yeah, Tank Girl's great. Effie May is great. She's actually, Effie May is one of the few people that McGregor has gotten somewhat close to. I'd say it's her and
Bianca, right?
Bianca, right? Yeah. But yeah. So you got into this from watching Myth, right?
Yep. Yeah, because I GM'd, I've role played with Myth on Table Story before, and then I also GM'd him in Gone, the existential crisis, the game. I think I raided into him one night and he was doing wild RP, and he was having this interaction. He was just running the gun shop, and he was having this interaction with somebody, and they were wearing the same shirt, and he went, "Oh, I like your shirt," and then switched the camera to show his shirt and that guy's shirt, and I fucking laughed out loud, and I was like, "Oh no, you're getting my production boner. Like, this is cool." And he'd be playing music and doing just, just this very cinematic way of storytelling, which is my jam. And I went, "Oh, this is just like so good." And the role play was really good. His character, the barman, I love the barman. I would bang the barman. Are you kidding me? Hands down, I would totally smash the barman.
Is that number one?
That's, well, not number one, but on the list of 5. Don't make me put somebody. Don't make me put somebody in number 1, but he's on the list for sure. The barman's fucking awesome. So anyway, I was watching the barman RP, and just the arc in the story was so interesting that I was like, well, this is fucking awesome. And then he was like, come play. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna have time, and it's just gonna be, I'm not gonna be very good at it, and like all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he finally convinced me to join the server.
So glad he did.
I have not slept since. So, it's good.
I know, like that's something we can all share, right? We have all lost sleep because of roleplay, for sure.
But it's good though. It's an organic, breathing, living world. So it's kind of hard, if you are away, you are missing stuff that's happening. So it's like really triggering that FOMO if you're susceptible to it. But also I find it actually like really relaxing and therapeutic, which I know sounds weird because there's sometimes a lot of crazy shit that's happening in the server. But I find it's been a really good way for me to kind of unwind and, kind of have some guilt-free, relaxing gaming time for me, which is just nice. So,
I don't think that's weird at
really
all.
enjoyed it.
I think that makes total sense, especially with you as playing a civilian, where you guys can go off and have these little adventures that usually, most of the time, they don't get ruined.
Yeah.
Usually, it's
most
a good
of the time.
time.
We're just crying with laughter, which feels really good. Most of the time, my interactions are good. Yeah.
Although it wasn't as funny as it was spooky.
Scary.
Oh,
yeah.
I have to tell you, I didn't say this in character because I was like, McGregor would not have done. What was it called again? Salvia? McGregor would not have done.
Salvia, yeah.
I did Salvia once.
Did you? So
one
you
time.
didn't. Well, you said I'm familiar with it, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, it's exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was because it was legal. Like it was sold everywhere, and yeah,
I did not know this.
yeah,
I did
I'm
not
pretty
know.
sure it was legal. Maybe I'm older than you. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
So we just got some in a shop,
Yeah.
and like it was like a gas station or something, or I don't know, maybe it was a smoke shop. And like it was, I was like, they were like, it's a hallucinogen, but it only lasts for like 30 seconds, a minute, something like that. And I was like, I was really nervous about it. I tried it. I tried like the lowest dose, and my experience was, I immediately, the second I passed it to someone else, I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride. Like immediately, I felt like I was on a roller coaster at the top of it, and I just started screaming in front of all these other people, like I was on a roller coaster, like oh, and it lasted for like 10 seconds. And then everyone's staring at me, and I was like, was I just screaming? They were like,
did I just scream at the top of my fucking lungs?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I did not see the world in.
You did not see the grid.
No, but so somebody else told me once that they saw the world in patterns, but everyone was zippers.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, but I never heard the
grid thing. Yeah. The other thing too that I didn't mention in that story was the time aspect and the clocks and the ticking. And I didn't remember it until, was it Harper saying that he had a friend that did it once? Someone said they had a friend. Oh, it was Myth.
Yeah.
It said I had a friend that did it once that said he could hear the world ticking, and I had goosebumps because I was like, oh my god, that's right. They also said that. They were like, you know, either there's a clock nearby, or they said something about time and a clock and that kind of aspect being related to this grid and this man in the bowler hat or whatever. Oh my god, it's just, I can't explain it.
That guy
it's
named
so
Reddit
creepy.
told you
Yeah,
about
that guy
it.
named Reddit, the book named Reddit from the library. Yeah.
I went to I don't know how else to say this. So I went to the library and I was looking for books, and I found a book by a guy named Reddit. That's what you said.
That's what I said in character. I try not to do that because I realize that I realize it's immersion breaking, but in that instance, I was just trying to tell you guys this really crazy. My new favorite news reporter, Richard Reddit. No, Orcish, please. The next character you roll up. Reporter, journalist, Richard Reddit. Please. Flash character. See how long it takes for him to fucking die if you want. But
okay, yeah.
If you don't do it, I'll do it. Regina.
Reddit. I've been thinking. Regina Reddit. Yes. I've actually been thinking of doing like a permathon where I think I have my first character ready. But just like first time you die, like you're dead.
That's it. You're dead.
First time you get downed.
I've also thought about that as well. And instead of doing that, I wrote a character that has a terminal illness that I'm very interested in playing, because what I'm going to do, I think, and I haven't really ironed all the kinks out yet, but what I want to do is before I start playing her, I'm going to roll and I'm going to see how much time she has period. And then I'm going to go, okay, so depending on how long that is, I'm going to break it down into benchmarks. And then when I hit the first benchmark, I start having symptoms set 1 and then symptoms set 2. And then when I hit the final benchmark, I'm rolling every day to see if today's the day, which I think would be really fucking cool and really hard and very challenging.
That's so good.
Yeah. And I'm already stupidly attached to her as well. And I want to take it back, but I can't because that's like part of the fun. Yeah. So
already in there.
Yeah. She's already there. I like her.
But you're so much better at this than I am.
I think it's no. I think that's just me wanting to do something absurd and use dice and a little bit of chaos in every game for me, or every character creation is good. I will regret this. I will regret making a character like that who has a time limit. I'm going to be like, why did you do this to yourself? This was supposed to be your recovery from Spark's character, and you're
no.
fucking gonna kill her.
So like,
But
what
I'm an
what are the
emotional
what's
terrorist myself. Yeah.
So what is the time limit on this? Are we talking about like it's gonna be either 2 weeks or it's gonna be like 2 months or like how?
No, I think I'm gonna have a limit, a minimum of 30 days, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm gonna do 30 days consecutively or if it's gonna be 30 sessions, 30 play sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I know myself well enough to know if I say it's 30 sessions, then it's going to get to the point where I refuse to log off because I know my time's running out. So I don't think I should do it that way. But I also don't want to necessarily do consecutive days because it means I won't play anything else other than that character for those days. And so, but maybe that's okay if I do it after Sparks' arc is done or Sparks is done, which is horrible to think about.
I don't
want to think
hope
about
Sparks lasts forever.
it. Yeah, me too. I really like her. But you never know, and things can get crazy at any time. So, but I also really enjoy this character too. I think in some ways she's very different from Sparks, and in a lot of ways, I think it'll be really fun and challenging to play her. So yeah, I think I don't know how I would feel rolling every single day to be like, is today the day that she fucking dies? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. But I think at least 30 days, at least
Yeah.
1 month in character
I think
is minimum for her to be able to, her death to have an impact on the
Yes.
world around her, which is like the most important thing, I guess. If you're going to play a Flash character, you want it to kind of like mean something to someone. Have somebody who's been on the server for the same character for 2 years use that as fuel, I guess, is what I would want.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I agree 100% on the 30 days. I think that is
Yeah,
the
that should be
perfect
enough.
amount of time. Well, the
Mhm.
minimum amount of time for you to really get to know people are used to you being there. They're like,
Yeah.
so like when it happens, it's not going to be, like who? It's going to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
been hanging out like every day for the past couple of weeks and now they're just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call on the minimum. What do you think the maximum would be though? Because it can't
I
be
was
too
wondering
long.
this. It can't be too long. Well, I mean, it could be because technically she would be my next main. Because I've realized that I think that I'm a one character player, where I want to play the one character. I want to dive into that character, and that's pretty much all I want to play until their story is done. Just because I feel like I can do a better job. Unless it's Nora, because I dissociate. I can literally like be like, "What happened?" And that's fine. But
Do you
Nora
really
almost
not know
always
what happened when you play her?
sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I come out of it and I'm like, did I fucking say that? So yeah, and in some ways I am, and in some ways I'm just like I'm usually in most of the situations that I'm in or most of the RP that I'm in, I take a like fill role. Where I look and I see what other people want to play, and I'm like, okay, this is what's missing, so I'll come in and I'll play that.
Mhm.
And in a comedic setting, usually I will set up and I will kind of like I'll set up the joke, or I will not finish the joke, but I will do the after bit, the like straight man after the joke has been delivered, if that makes sense. I don't know if any of you understand what I'm saying, but it's like it's 4 a.m. for me, so give me a little bit of credit. But so I'm not used to being the one that makes the joke, that like delivers that punchline.
Right.
And with Nora, I get to do that, and
Yeah.
everybody around me is just like setting up joke after joke after joke, and we're just going, and I love it. It's so fun. So yeah, normally I am playing assist for the comedic characters, and with Nora I get to be the comedic character, which is fun.
Yeah, Novatorium's asking
yeah, I was just
about
gonna say there are some questions I can definitely
how do you
answer.
play a character? Do you plan them out? They say they just wing their characters, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. But I mean, like backstory and stuff. How deep do you go?
It depends entirely on the character. I have showed up to role play sessions having no idea who the person is until I speak for the first time, and I've also written insanely 2-page documents on who they are or like the people that they know. Like I think I'm more inclined to write background on who they know rather than them, because I need to be able to reference that stuff to make them feel real. Luckily I get to, for Sparks, that's Michael and he's an actual player. So I get to be like, oh yeah, this time Michael and I did that. But I find when players are able to have a dialogue with you like they would in real life and reference things that happened to them in a day or their past, or, you know, tell stories like, oh yeah, this one time this other thing happened. That makes it more real for me as a player or a viewer, or in a tabletop setting. It just makes them, it's something to grab onto. So I like doing that. So I usually like to think about stories or like relationships that they would have or experiences that they would have had, rather than like who they are, what their favorite color is. And I let that stuff just come in the moment.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really do too much planning. Or if I do, I'm just assuming anything can happen. Like obviously organic trumps anything else. So
Yeah.
even if I had an idea for who Sparks was, that's completely changed and she's somebody totally different now. So,
Yeah.
and that's good. Yeah.
I remember that happened to me like with my first character. And it's happened on a few characters where like because with Argus, my little dwarven blacksmith, I wanted him to be like this gruff, mean, like, you know, kind of like character, but he ended up being the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened
funny how
that way.
works.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's like
and
you have this idea and then they just are somebody different. And it's just like in real life, they're shaped by the world around them, you know? So in that way, it's very cool. I find like if you, personally for me, obviously there's like a million different ways to role play and go about role playing your character. But I find for me to yes and myself, not just other people around me. So normally if you've got somebody and they are like, they're giving you a scene or they're giving you a moment, usually you want to take that moment, say thank you, and add to that moment so that you know, it's that like volleying, right? So then when you apply that to your own character development, it makes it, for me, it makes it a lot more fun, because the temptation to protect my character and to keep them safe or to guide their upbringing like a parent would, you know, you kind of, I feel like there's a natural instinct to be like, no, you know, I kind of want them to be like this, or I want them to go this, or they're lawmen, so they wouldn't do that. Like, don't do that. If you feel it in the moment, do the thing. Yes, and yourself and the situation, and then see what happens, because then that's how you get a growing, breathing, warping character in a way that you wouldn't get if you were writing a book, because you're, you know, you're improving it live, you're going based on your feelings, which I think is really fun and cool. And that's how I got Sparks, because otherwise she would just be this flash criminal, and she's way cooler now in my opinion. So
yeah
Sparks
is super cool. So that's interesting that you say that, because I find myself holding back a lot with a lot of characters. Like, no, you wouldn't do this. There's no way. And I've actually beat myself up before about, like, there's a couple things McGregor has done where I'm like, there's no way he would have done that. Why did I do that?
Well, haven't you ever done something in your life that you're like, why did I fucking do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I just say that because I think there have been a couple of moments where I have done that with Sparks as well and been like, oh, that was PB, not Sparks.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a line that you need to ride where you're constantly thinking, okay, what would my character do? You know, what would she do? What are her feelings about this? Like just the other night when they were riding by, like, and this is a mild meta for you, but I think she said it to you.
Okay.
Maybe not.
It's fine.
But she doesn't like going over bridges because of her attack. They dragged her over a bridge and I could literally hear her fucking head hitting the wood and I can still hear it. So I just take that and I'm like, okay, Sparks hears that anytime she crosses a wooden bridge. She just doesn't enjoy it. So she tries to avoid it if possible. So there was an incident where her and Harper were having a conversation, and Harper said, I think it was like a group of people were out drinking at the Wildflower. It was the soft open of the Wildflower, and then everybody was heading back, and Sparks was being the fucking DD, and that friend that's like, okay, let's make sure everyone's on the fucking horse. Let's make sure everybody gets home. And Harper said something like, well, yeah, but they're at the end of the day, they're all adults, and you can't not like you can't save everybody, but just like, you can't be responsible for them. Maybe it was like you can't save everybody. You can't do that all the time. And I was like, yeah, that's totally true. And then something in my brain went, absolutely not. Sparks, that is so upsetting to Sparks right now. And then I was quiet for the rest of the ride because I'm like, I don't know how Sparks would respond to this. Like, would she get angry? Like, I don't feel like she would. And so sometimes I have to fumble my way through like how the character actually feels, but I want to commit to that moment and I want to commit to who she is. So I had to really think about it and be like, well, the details surrounding her attack are that she went out with a group of people and then was like, hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to drop Harper off. Because I do this dumb thing where like if I ride a horse, I don't know if it's dumb. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I've noticed people on the server don't typically do this. But if I ride somewhere with someone on a horse, I don't call my horse to get home. I have to hitch a ride with somebody. Yeah, because like I didn't bring my horse. So it doesn't make sense to me that you can call your horse from like
there.
Yeah. I don't, it doesn't make sense that you can call
get your horse. That's how you do it.
Yeah. And if I only have one horse, then I don't. Like people who stable their horses in certain cities, props. But my character only has one horse. And if I left it in Rhodes, it's in Rhodes. It can't hear me all the way in Strawberry. So I have to like hitch a ride back. So what ended up happening is I'm with a group and I'm like, okay, it was their first fucking date, by the way. And it wasn't even really a date. She was just like, hey, come fishing with this group while I suss you out and get to know you. Okay. So they all go out and she goes, hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to go drop Harper off and, I'll come back and then I'll ride with someone. So she drops Harper off and he's like, just take my horse. And she's like, okay. So she goes back. It's literally what is the lake called right outside of Strawberry?
I can't.
Yes. You have no idea?
No, I don't know.
There's a lake that's literally over the hill from Strawberry, y'all. It was like not even 2 minutes. So I get over there and everyone's gone. And I'm like, this is like a party in real life where you're like, hang on, I'm going to be right back. And then everybody's
okay, we'll wait for you.
Yeah. Okay. We'll wait for you. And then they're all gone. And I was like, fuck. So, and then on the ride back is when I got attacked. So in that moment, my brain was like, absolutely not, because that's the thing that came into my brain is like, if someone had just paused and done what I'm doing, the head count, I wouldn't have been fucked up as badly as I was. If people could just take their head out their ass for 5 seconds. I know I'm tired. I know everybody's been drinking. I know it's like herding cats, but this is a very dangerous world that we live in. And it'll take me 5 extra minutes to make sure everybody's on the horse, make sure we have a head count. But then no one's going to be in the same situation I was in, getting their head dragged around a bridge and like beaten. So it's like, then I had to be like, oh, fuck, I think she's kind of mad at you. And then I had to message Doc, who plays Harper, whom I love so very much, and be like, I'm so sorry. But I'm sorry in advance. Because I think she's gonna be pretty pissed, but she didn't like yell or anything. And then he DC'd, so we didn't even get to have the conversation afterwards. But it's like, yeah, man, situations like that where something happens and I think, oh, my character wouldn't be this way, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, maybe she would, or what would it be like if she did, or what has to happen for her to do that thing. I love thinking like that all the time. Even if I'm not playing the game,
same.
I'll be thinking about that shit all the time. Like, what would make Sparks go dark side? Or, how crazy would it be if she did? And what would the dark side look like for her? And in my opinion, it's vigilantism probably is the way that it would go, right? And there are conditions, like if Harper was tortured. So it's funny because I said this on my stream the other day and people were like, oh, if Harper dies, that's a condition. And I'm like, actually it isn't. And that's not because she doesn't care about Harper, but he's a lawman. And I think she understands that that's like part of his job. If somebody fucking takes him and tortures him, obviously that's a little bit of a different scenario where she might feel the need to like go and do something about it. But I also think he's surrounded by people who are very capable that work with him that can handle it. Frankie, that's a condition for her because like she's supposed to be watching over Frankie. So Frankie gets fucking tortured. Obviously, she's gonna want to do something about it.
Mhm.
And she was taken, and so that was a fun thing where I was like, "What are you gonna do about it?" But yeah, rambling now.
No, it's really good.
That's
I
good.
wanted to say that like that whole process that you go through where like
Mhm.
something happens and you're like and you blurt something out and it comes from you and
Mhm.
then you think about it and you're like, "Wait, how does my character actually feel about this?" I think that can
Yeah.
actually be natural though. Cuz like we do that in real
Yes.
life too. Like if
Mhm.
I'm having a conversation with something and they're like, like, and I just like stepping on dogs sometimes, and
And
obviously
you're
not.
like, haha, and
But
then you
I'm
go,
like,
wait a minute.
yeah. And then I think about it and I'm like,
Mhm.
can we go back to where you said you'd step on dogs? Because I actually don't
Yeah.
like that you said that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Can we
So,
just like back it up a bit? You're an asshole.
yeah. And this date is over.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, speaking of dates, can I
Uh-huh.
get some mild meta?
Uh-huh.
Because I was not kidding today when I said that I overheard that McGregor is like a playboy.
He's been on one date since he came to the crossing.
No. No, stop.
Yeah, he's
That's
been
not what
on.
I heard at
So
all.
so okay. Let me tell you what happened. You
This is
want the
so
meta?
interesting. I don't
It's
know if
because
I do.
it's telephone game. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
there's
don't
some.
tell me
Don't
because
tell you.
I
Okay.
feel like Sparks and McGregor might have a funny interaction about that, so maybe don't say anything
I
because
hope
the
that.
shit I overheard was fucking hysterical. So she needs to tell you at some point. So,
Okay. Oh God,
mhm.
chat stop. Um. So. Yeah, we can skip over that, but it's funny how there's that game of telephone where like you hear something like Marty Malone shoved a gun in my face, and then the actual story is that Marty Malone was holding a gun 20 feet away from him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
such a.
I'm not really sure how you could telephone what I heard, but we'll find out. We'll find out because I will ask. I will ask.
Okay. All right.
I believe you.
He's not a player at all. And that was one of those moments where I was like, fuck. This was me having fun playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with some friends, not McGregor.
Yeah,
But it happens.
it happens.
You'll find out in character.
Mhm.
I'm actually really excited to get to know Sparks for a lot of different reasons. One, I think like it's good for McGregor to have relationships outside of work.
Yeah.
Two, I think that I really enjoy the role players that make up the Rhodes crew because
Yeah.
they're all so cool. And like, whenever I come through, it's always just in passing. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Maybe I'll get like a 5-minute scene with like Bud or something buying some cigarettes, or Boone and
Yeah.
Edie telling him to stop running through town. But like, I never really get into some RP. The only one that I've really RP'd with is Myth on my other character.
Yeah.
So it was really cool last night to be able to RP with you guys and have that adventure. And I think that like it makes sense in character too for McGregor to be
Yeah.
like, dude, I need to decompress. Like we've been
Yeah.
understaffed for so long, and finally we aren't. Okay, I'm gonna take some time and make some friends. And I'm super excited for the wildflower. I think that that's gonna be
Yeah.
really fun.
I think it's gonna get me killed, but who knows?
No,
Well,
come
I hope
on.
not.
Nah, it'll be fine. It's so. Why are you playing so early? Ugh.
Yeah.
So I hope that if God, if by the time I log into the
By the time
server,
you
it's
log
already
in, I'm dead. Could you imagine? No, please don't. I
That would be
can't.
terrible.
It would be
McGregor would
so
be
bad.
pissed.
Yeah.
He'd be so pissed.
Ugh. I have thought about asking. So there are I don't know if I should tell you that. I'll tell you. It's fine. I think it'll be okay.
It'd still be fine.
I have thought about asking McGregor for details on her case. Like Sparks has thought about being like, hey, can I see the fucking file on my case?
On her own case?
Yeah, because I think she doesn't. I think she doesn't know what happened, and I think she's under the impression that law has felt like it's a dead end and has left it and is not investigating anymore. And I think she's like, well, I am curious. And she
McGregor
also
never even
found,
looked at it because he
yeah,
was never part of it. But
yeah. So I think that's just the feeling that she gets is it's kind of like, well, this woman was attacked, and yeah, and that it's just kind of a dead end.
yeah, it sucks because I think that if McGregor was a real person and I was playing him and I was like playing him
Yeah.
16 hours a day,
Yeah, exactly.
he would have, like, in all the law were there 16 hours a day, they definitely would have looked into it more. And
Yeah.
the people who did the crime would have left more behind. And there's a lot of things that as law we just can't fucking find these criminals because it's up to them to lead us to them.
leave the details. Yeah. It's up to them to want to play.
It's very
that way.
rare that we just get lucky and like run into them on the road and are like, why do you guys have a panther mask on? Someone was literally just robbing someone with a panther mask. Like, that doesn't happen very often at all.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple times since I've been playing, but most of the time with these like careful, crafty characters who are like sinister and calculating and like it's totally up to that player when they want to be caught. So like as good as McGregor is at investigating, as much time as I put into it, like there's only so much I can do.
You can do.
But I don't know if you knew this, but the next patch is going to be a law patch, and they are adding evidence system.
Yes, I did know this.
Yeah,
because I pitched the admin team for a CSI team. I was like, can we please? Yeah, I did. I was like, can we please do like a group of civilians? Because some of us don't want to hold guns or whatever. But we're doing the stuff like collecting evidence, taking pictures, crime scene, that kind of stuff. And then they had mentioned like there's a really cool evidence system coming into play. And there might be space for roles like that with what they're rolling out, which is so exciting. So the idea that, I think details might be left automatically.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
So we had Tank on the Tank Loves You on the podcast last week, and he actually he's a community manager for Wild RP, and he would want me to tell you that he's not the only one that handles the law, but he is a big part of the law on the server. And he's told, and Kano 5 Alive has told me about like it's gonna be things like you fire a gun and there's residue left, or there's like a round left on the ground, or like the gun's still hot or warm. It's going to be stuff like that. It's automatic. It just happens.
Well, Sparks is joining law so that I can play detective.
I'm so excited because that's what McGregor is already. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very cool.
I've been doing it a little bit with the med RP because I wasn't expecting Sparks to ever go down a med path, but it just happened to be like, she does have history like stitching up, knife wounds and stuff like that because backstory stuff. But I think like it came to a point where so many people were like, oh, Sparks is here. She's a medic. And I was like, actually, I'm not. I just know how to do stuff. And the medics are like, yeah, she's fine to stitch that person up. And, Bianca was like, we consider joining the med team because we'd like to have you. And then it was like, it's gotten to the point where it's irresponsible of me to not, because everyone's relying on me. And then there's going to be a situation where people are like, yay, Sparks, can you do this? And I'm not going to know what to do. And yeah, that's just, it's just irresponsible for people to assume that I'm med when I'm not med. So I either have to not help people or I need to join medical. And so then she was like, okay, well, I can't not help people. So I guess I'm joining medical.
Yeah.
But it has allowed for more, I don't know, really cool RP scenes like with McGregor. I don't think that, I don't think we would have had the opportunity to have our characters connect in the way that we have without her being part of medical. So
Absolutely.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I'm very happy with that decision. That was a good decision. Yeah. Also, the server is desperate for medical people at this point. they're like I was telling you about how Law is. Like whenever there was a couple people on, or 3 or 4, it was just
Yeah.
Bianca for a
Yeah.
while there.
It's
Um,
brutal. It's like even today, it was like a couple back to back
yeah.
where, you get one and you're like, okay, here comes like another 40 minutes at least, before I'm going somewhere. And sometimes it's immediately after that,
Hmm.
that you have another one. So yeah, it can be very intense.
Frost is a trooper. She's Frost and Fire. She plays Bianca. She plays a lot. And like without her being around in a lot of situations, it would just be like, well, I guess McGregor is going to try to stitch this person's face back together. Like,
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
knows how to stitch people, not well, but
Yeah.
adequately for the most part. But he, like, for anything serious or like infection, like he doesn't know what
Yeah.
to do. So,
Yeah. The weird part about the way that I'm playing Sparks's addition to the medical, which I think you've probably noticed by now,
mhm.
is an emotional piece, because I feel like that's just what she would do. And it's like, yes, she knows how to stitch people up and she's doing that, but predominantly she will read to people or she will talk to
Mhm.
them and keep them distracted while they're getting stitched up.
So
And she's
good.
just kind of there to be that emotional doctor, which is kind of cool. And I didn't see
Bedside
that
manner.
coming. Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen, but it happened. It happened with Ruby, I think, first. And I shit you not. Have you ever read The Wizard of Oz? Because I
No,
hadn't. I hadn't.
you hadn't
Her
until that.
No, I had not, and I went, "Okay, this book came out this year." I
Mhm.
pulled it up on I have a library app on my computer. I just checked out the book from the library. Ruby was like, she had been crushed by a horse in a race,
Yes.
and Ruby's part of the Rhodes crew, so Sparks is really attached to her. So anyway, we're like, she's getting worked on. Sparks can't do anything, so she's sitting there, heart's crying, and she's like, "What can I do?" So she pulls out this fucking book and starts reading Wizard of Oz. I'd never
Mhm.
read it before. I didn't know her shoes were silver in the book. So I had this really cool moment where I read that her shoes were silver out loud, and then I went, "No, ruby red slippers," because her name's Ruby on the ground. And I was like, that's such a cool detail because we live in the future and we're RPing in the past, that we
Yeah.
get to do cool things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a neat moment. But yeah, I had never.
Her shoes are silver in the book?
Her shoes are silver in the book. Yep.
Oh, crazy. I
It's
didn't
like
know that.
it's a commentary on class, I think. But
Mhm.
they changed it for red in the film because it was like it's a color film,
Yeah,
and
because they
so
wanted to
for the
show
first
off the
time, so they
color.
wanted to show it off. Yeah. But I didn't know they were silver in the book, so it was crazy. Um, but yeah, it was a good opportunity to just slide in future knowledge in a really cool way. That was like a nod. But yeah, so it started there. I started reading that book there, and then there was another incident, and yeah, I just really enjoyed that aspect of how she is aware of the emotional state of people, and she's
So
kind of trying
important.
to take care of that piece as well as stitching people up. So if she has to, if a man can't have morphine, can you imagine that? First of all, think
Ugh.
about that, chat. You are getting stitched up, your fingers are getting amputated,
Mhm.
and you have no pain meds. None at all. That's
It's crazy.
insanity.
People
That's
brush it off so
insanity.
much, like people brush a
Yeah.
lot of things off.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this earlier in the podcast that I really
Mhm.
love how you bring forward like the seriousness, the gravity of a situation in
Yeah.
injuries, particularly. And that's part of the thing. Like, they're feeling that full force.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, most of us don't even have any idea what that actually feels like. Like, I've
Yeah.
never been in that much pain in my life, so I can't even
Yeah.
imagine. Like, that's nuts. Like,
Yeah. It's crazy.
right. And like
Uh
the emotional toll it has on you, like, it's not only that my fingers hurt so bad because they've been cut off. I'm never gonna have they're gone. My
yeah.
fingers are gone. Like,
Yeah.
that makes it so much worse, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that
It's
before, where you've read a story where you're like, man loses arm, and you think about like, what would that be like to lose
yeah.
your arm?
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person. I think about that stuff when I hear
That's
about
good
it.
though, because I think it shows through in your character. It shows through in McGregor. I think everybody can agree with me that you play McGregor in a way that's like, I always feel like when I'm interacting with him that he understands the weight of the situation and he's thinking about all angles of the situation. Like even tonight, what did you think was going to happen from this point forward? Did you not think that they're going to go after the people that you care about? Like
Yeah.
that's the reality of the situation. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
but he
I
just
think,
started something terrible.
yeah, and believe me, Sparks said, like, please don't do anything because that's all you're doing, and it's like a conversation that they have had multiple times where he's like, I think I know who did what they did to you, and don't you want to do anything about it? And she's like, no, because you might be wrong, first of all, and second of all, like, what's that going to do? It's just going to piss them off even more. And we already know that they can fuck me up. So
Yeah,
why bother? Why? But I
it's
think
tough.
part of that friction led, Jody down the path that he's on right now, just to see somebody who's like, no, yes, I want them to burn. I think about it all the time. I have power fantasies about like killing these people, but like, that's because I'm traumatized, it's not because I actually want to do it.
But you wouldn't,
Um,
would Sparks smile?
no,
I thought
I
that was
don't
really
think Jody did either.
I thought,
I think it's all
think that's
bravado.
bravado. Yeah.
I do. I do. And I can't tell. I just think it's a really nuanced character that wants you to think that he's tough. And at the end of the day, he doesn't feel like singing because he feels guilty. Yeah. I
That's
think that's
actually
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Johnny Blams is great, by the way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Johnny Blams. He's
Mhm.
staff on the server. He might be admin. He's awesome. He did you know he played Gavin Summers?
Did. I did.
Oh.
I didn't know until after.
So after Gavin was put away.
Yes, I think like he came in and he was playing somebody else, and then he went, "This is also Gavin," and I went, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
I watched you. Like I watched the Barman arc. Like it was so cool." So yeah, I didn't know until after I'd been interacting with him because I didn't recognize his voice. But yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I did want to answer this question in chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Sparks was part of the Cheeky Blinders, and so was Michael. And things have just changed so profoundly since then.
Cheeky Blinders.
Yeah. It's okay. So it's a story that you'll have to ask Sparks about in character if you want to know it in character. But out
Okay.
of character, they had one drunken, stupid night where they shot each other in the ass, all of them, Dallas checkers, Sparks and Michael out literally still within town limits of roads, but there wasn't law around at that time. So nobody cared. And we went in and paid a medic to give us matching scars of stars, and Michael has a crescent moon on his ass. So we're just like this night sky. But anyway, we jokingly called ourselves the Cheeky Blinders because our ass cheeks all have scars on them.
That's
But
good.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Cheeky Blinders.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Didn't
Yeah.
even see that question. Yeah, if you see any questions you wanna,
Yeah.
of course. That's really cool. That's a
Yeah.
fun little RP arc. Or RP connection with
Yeah.
your friends that you rolled in with.
Yeah.
So I have let me say Sarah P plays Ruby. I was gonna say this
Yes.
earlier.
Yes.
I actually role played with her in Conan, and we had a romantic
Yeah.
characters in Conan. She is so cool. I love Sarah. She's great.
I love her
character
very,
doesn't
very, very much.
really like the law very much.
No, she doesn't. Her and Sparks get along really well. She's probably another one on my smash list, actually, now that we're talking about her.
You go for
Yep.
Ruby.
Yeah, I would. Are you kidding me? Ruby would be such a considerate lover. Are you
Aw,
joking?
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I feel terrible. These are my friends' characters. I'm just like, yes, 10 out of 10 would smash.
No, that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the people want to hear. So thank you.
Oh my God. I just got a DM. I have to shout out someone. Can we just
Shout 'em out.
so the person Richie who plays Boone, who's like one of my favorite players and or characters and or people on the planet, just sent me a message and said, my mom has become addicted to Wild RP and is a mega fan of you and Orcish. And she told me that you were talking about me on the podcast. So I just want to shout out Boone's mom because Richie is
Boone's
such a lovely
mom!
human and I love him so much. So it's not technically Boone's mom, but it's
Boone's characters, Boone's players. But who's Boone's players? What's his name? I've never DM'd him before.
Oh, VTM. Yeah, it's VTM. And then there are some underscores as well.
Hey, VTM.
I can never remember how many underscores I'm so sorry.
2.
Is it 2? Is it 2 underscores? Boone's mom is hey Boone's mom. I just wanted to shout her out because that's her name now. Oh no.
Oh, Boone is great. Boone is great. We talked about him earlier because when McGregor was pretty new to the law, he would ride through often. He would ride through roads, and you were playing kind of earlier on Nora at that time, and I was later. So we never interacted, but I interacted with Boone several times, and I think he was very different at his start, which all characters are. You know, you start out and you're new and you're learning things.
See, that's funny that you say that because I don't think he is.
You don't
To
think
me,
he
he
is?
seems no, but I feel like he's been in some way he's different, but in some ways he's the same. He's Boone. Like he did a very good job of playing
Really?
somebody that has like goals and flaws, and those things stay consistent and are challenged often. But yeah, to me he feels very much. You know what actually it is to me? I think he's played somebody who has aged, which is really crazy hard to do now that I'm thinking about it.
That
Do you know what I
actually
mean?
tracks a little bit, with what I feel about how he's changed a little bit. Yeah.
It's those
Yeah, he's just an
experiences of like,
older
oh, you've grown up.
version.
You know, something's happened to you and you've grown and you've changed, but like down at the base, you're still there. So yeah,
Now you're blushing.
super, super cool.
He's blushing.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, that's
Anyways,
amazing. That's so
Yeah,
great
so
that that his mom's watching us. Aw. Say hi to
That's
mom.
very, very good. So okay, I don't get to know your smash list. This
No.
isn't fair. When do I get to know this? When will you guys reveal this? Never.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll come up.
you just
Maybe we'll
get
come
to-
up with a sub goal someday. Sell out.
Yeah. Yeah. And be like, all right, I will reveal it at this time.
For 10,000 subscriptions.
Oh Jesus. Whew. Yeah, no, it was good. I love McGregor, and I'm so glad that I get to RP with you on a more frequent basis. It's actually really nice. And now Sparks is going to try to get McGregor to move to Rhodes or somewhere, I guess somewhere nearby, maybe, because I feel like
there.
no,
There's 2
couldn't.
sheriffs already.
Yeah, unless one of them fucking dies.
Which is the track record for Rhodes.
No, stop it. I know. Believe me, I fucking know.
How many sheriffs have died there? Is it 3? I think it's 3.
Yeah.
It was
Jay Branzello. Sorry.
what?
Otto. The
What's
Jay
up,
Brands who plays
How you
Otto is in the
doing?
chat. Yeah. It's another character that I've
Otto's
had the
great.
opportunity. Otto is so fucking good.
I love him.
And I said that earlier, not saying that because he's in the chat. Okay. I was
She
gushing
did say
about
that earlier. She did
I
say
did
that
say it
earlier.
earlier. I was gushing about him. But yeah.
Oh, he doesn't. McGregor doesn't hate Otto.
Otto's another character that is really nuanced and layered. And I have to say, man, I just have to say this one thing. So tonight, during all of the chaos, Sparks saw Otto interacting in a way that was completely different from how she's been interacting with him for the last, like, I don't know, 4 days, which isn't really a lot, but in RP time, that's so much time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was a really cool, sad moment where I wish if I had full control over the camera,
Mm-hmm.
I would have zoomed in on Otto saying the things that he was saying and being like, what the it's just like night and day from my experience with him. And it was cool. It was neat to watch and be like, oh, there's there's this mask. Or which one
Wow.
is the mask kind of thing. Yeah, it's just so cool and interesting when people play layered characters.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I
So
also loved you as well.
J-Brands actually gets, Otto actually gets along with McGregor fairly well. But McGregor's the soft touch, you know, he's easy to get along
Yeah.
with. But I've loved RPing with you, man. Like Otto's been great. Like McGregor, save me. Were you just gonna stand there when all the women were around him, like carrying him off? I think they beat him up and tied him up and carried him off.
Yeah.
That was really funny. But he also comes to McGregor and talks to him about things, and that's what I like. That's what I love about playing the softer touch, is that criminals will come to me first.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to the guy who hates them, you know? They want to go to somebody who can understand them, and I get some really good scenes that way. I've had some really good scenes with a lot of really good role players.
Yeah.
It's just so overwhelming how many awesome role players there are. There's too many. Like, I can't, like, I love so many of these characters. I can't even remember all of them. you know?
Yeah, there are a lot of really good ones. Like there was another really cool, and I know now we're just talking about our favorite scenes that we've had with people, but I had another really cool scene with Myth's character Cooper Garrett, who runs the gunsmith shop in Rhodes. For those of you that don't know, he plays this kind of comedic, lighthearted character on the surface, but he's also another character with a mask. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like Sparks has just been in a situation, especially lately, where a lot of these characters with masks are interacting with her and then they just drop it. They just drop their mask for a minute or for a scene. And it's like, holy shit.
Oof.
Like she had it with Hart. And then there was this scene with Cooper where he had me fucking crying because he was just talking about, how his wife just left one day and he just kind of broke down a little bit. And then the most haunting thing, they walk away. It's raining. They've just had this crazy emotional moment. And she's like, let me get you a hot cocoa. And he's like, yeah. And then he just goes up and starts talking to Boone like nothing happened. And it was like, fucking, that's so real. That's what depression's like in real life, dude. Like that's it. That's so real. And it broke my heart. And I was like, all these people that are playing these characters that seem comedic or, one-dimensional, and really they're just so not, it's just everybody's so fucking talented. There's so many really good people.
That's why I want to explore more of that. Like that's kind of why I want to see. That's why I'm doing the podcast. Like I want to meet people out of character and talk about this stuff because it's so awesome. And then I want to do the tabletop thing. Like I want to experience these really talented people in other ways, and I don't know,
a different scenario.
With a different character. And like
it'd be crazy. Myth GMs me on Wednesdays. Did you know that?
He on Table Story?
Yeah, he is running a campaign called Spellwind, and what
time does it start?
It's 4 p.m. Eastern, so you're probably VOD, but it does exist in VOD format, and it's crazy good. And I'm not just saying that because like I'm in it. I can't compliment myself, so believe me when I say it's good. It takes a lot for me to say that.
Are you good in it?
It's I am okay, and Meyer's in it, who plays Dallas, by the way.
Yeah, I like
So yeah,
Meyer.
you'll definitely, yeah, he's fucking amazing. God damn it.
So I've been
God damn it. He's so good. I
You okay?
hate you, Meyer. You're so good.
So I actually was following you first.
Mhm.
I started following you like
With Nora.
when I found out that you had come onto the server. But
Oh,
I'd
really?
known you before.
Oh, okay.
I'd known about you before that from Table Story.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And
Well, wait a second. Can I ask what you watched? Or if you just knew that Table Story was a thing that existed?
I knew that Table Story was a thing that existed. And
Oh, okay.
like I said, I don't really get a lot of time to watch Twitch.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I'd become friends with some people who were part of the Golden Rose, like out
Yeah,
of
okay.
character, made some connections, and they were also loosely connected with Brad and like Table Story and stuff like that. And I think I just had like watched your suggested watched your stream at some point. So I
Yeah.
followed you
It's
first.
like one of those weird small world things where you're like, oh, snap. I didn't know you were.
Yes,
I didn't know you did
exactly.
something that one time that I was also a part of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Twitch is really a lot like that. I didn't think that at first when I first started this journey, but
Yeah.
like
It's weirdly small.
especially if we're talking about role players on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like it
Yep.
gets real
Mhm.
small then. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I followed you first and then through watching your stuff, I was like, oh, who are and then one day, like I think I was live and we were talking about the Rhodes crew and chat was just like throwing names at me and I was like, all right, stopping
all
right
these
now.
people?
I'm following
Yeah.
all of them. Let's
Oh,
go. Followed
yeah.
Leah and Meyer and yeah, and I really like the RP and Rhodes and I'm really excited to kind of dig into that.
It's gonna be good. Is there a link for the tabletop story? Yes. I just want to pause everything and say goodnight. Jay Brands.
Jay Brands, you're gonna have an hour.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have an hour.
But also, yes, the tabletop. I'm assuming you're looking for Spellwind, but you can go to tablestory.tv or you can go to twitch.tv/tablestory.
Mm-hmm.
And the show is highlighted in the VOD section and it's called Spellwind. And it's got for the Wild RP people, it's got Meyer who plays Dallas, it's got me who plays Sparks and Nora, and also Mythmatic who plays the barman, Cooper Garrett, and a couple other characters. So yeah, very, very cool stuff.
I think I'm gonna swing by on Wednesday. That's my off stream night. So are you guys doing it this next Wednesday?
Yeah, every Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's 3 hours long. So
I'm gonna come by.
good shit. Cool.
Yeah.
Don't tell me if you're in the chat because it'll make me nervous.
Me? I'll make you
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah, of course. You're my friend and I care about your opinion. And now you can't come and watch me roleplay. Like I have to dissociate properly. Like
Just don't
if I
look
see you
at
in the
chat
chat,
then,
I'm gonna be like,
I'm gonna be spamming it.
yeah, okay, all right, fair. I just won't look at chat.
I'm gonna spam trash can emotes.
Yeah. There you go. A trash bag. Oh God, that would make me laugh and break character instantly. Don't do that.
Okay, fair.
I just won't watch chat. I'll just avoid it, and then I'll ask you after. I'll be like, "How was it?"
It was amazing.
Good.
I can tell you that already. Let's okay, so this is usually about where we wrap up. So
Yep. It's only 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not exhausted. Phoebe, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored.
You
very cool.
Should not be honored, but
I
thank
am.
you for saying that. Like, yeah, I'm so happy that you could come on. We'll have to have you come on again.
Yeah.
You're amazing. You're awesome. You're wonderful. Your RP is great. I love everything you do. And yeah, that awkward look on your face. Accept the compliments. Say thank you.
It's so hard. Thank you.
If you guys want to check out Table Story, please go check it out. I should have prepared links for this. I'm so sorry that I didn't.
Oh, it's okay. I'll them in your chat like a loser.
Do it. Please do. Check out Table Story. It's oh god.
Nightbot wrecked me.
Nightbot! Stop it!
Oh,
Hold
sorry.
on. I know this command. Is it permit? There we go. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
think so.
bots.
Thank you. Sorry.
Like I said, chat, we are not going to be doing a podcast because next Saturday's Christmas and the Saturday after that's New Year's Day. So we'll be back on the 8th of January. I don't know who's going to be here. I know B is going to be here, and I know I'm going to be here, and probably somebody else who's super amazing. Maybe not as amazing as PB, but you never know.
Oh, stop. You should get, I was going to say you should get Meyer on here, but it's like way late
I want my European friends to come on, but I don't know. It's like 8.
You could always give them the option, and then they could do what I did, which is chug some tea and stay up, because it's very cool. I'm honored. So,
well, I'm so glad you could come, and I really hope that we get to
D&D mod. Sorry.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Role play more together, and you play games together too. I'd love to play a scary game with you.
Yeah. Oh, you'll have to come do the Ghost Grabbers, which is Phasmophobia, where we role play in Phasmo. Yep.
Yes, please. Yes, please invite me to that.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody, have a great night, and I will see you in 3 Saturdays, the 8th of January, for the next podcast. Bye, everyone.
Bye.